WendyBellRadios.com. Wait, jeez. Wendy Bell Radio is live.
What happened?
I don't know. Brain fart.
I know you were so enraptured by this picture of the thumbnail of Hillary Clinton, just looking so kerfuffled.
That's how I felt. Yeah.
She's like, I just don't know. I mean, I don't know. I never met the guy. You mean you weren't on his ranch a bazillion times with Chelsea, doing God knows what? I don't know. I don't remember that. You'll have to ask my husband.
What I was going to say is WendyBellRadio.com is where you can get the mugs. They're back in stock.
They are, and I've got mine. There you go. The Brock mug is in. Let's go. And I like it on the side. They're super cute. Okay, so here's the deal. I'm actually drinking out of one of them that one of you is going to get. So I'm going to put a mark at the bottom of it. So you know what I'll do? I'll Sharpie.
Why don't when you're done?
No, I'm going to Sharpie a heart on the bottom.
No.
But I will take off my lips.
Wait a second. When
right?
you're
I'll
done.
take off my lips because that's disgusting.
Listen, when you're done, autograph the bottom.
Okay.
Of my mug.
Of your mug. Okay. We'll do that.
So one lucky participant, and we don't know. We won't even know. So you'll have to send us
This is really farcical. We're doing what Democrats do. We're doing something you shouldn't do, and we're going to spin it like a game show. Right. And that you're the big winner if you're the one who gets stuck with what we told you is really excellent. That's not.
Right. I'm sure the marker will rub off.
No, I don't know.
And I'm not even going to tell Lindsay.
Okay.
So we'll put it back in the box and package it.
And then somebody has to take a picture and put it on the stream. Hey, welcome you guys. If you're new, would you please tell Nick to put us or somebody to put us in the flipping box? How about a Friday request from Wendy? Can you give us a solid? Can you give a girl a freaking box?
I doubt it. Stephen Crowder's there.
Oh, you know what? We're better than he is. Don't ask.
I think it'd be better coming from you. What's his sister got to do to get the box?
Hey, Siri, text Nick from Rumble. Oh, shut up.
It's tired of your crap, too.
Hi, dear, period. What does his sister have to do to get a box? Question mark.
The big box.
Oh. All right, hold on. My phone is just not phoning. Hey, Siri. It's totally not. It's rejecting me. Hey, Siri. Text Nick from Rumble. Hello, love, comma. What does a sister have to do to get the big box? Question mark. Smiley face.
You might need to send him a mug so he sees your mug every day. He's like, oh, snap.
No, he doesn't. Hey, so I got a great testimonial last night about Sniper. Brock, you'll like this.
Okay.
So
it's free shipping.
This is from Robin. Robin from Lacey, Washington. Hi, Robin. I love your message. I joined Hotworks Gym and have to use the mat and the towel that they require us to use because of the temperature in the rooms. I didn't want to wash my towel every day, so I hang it up and spray it down with Sniper after every use. Smart. I do wash it twice a week. I also spray down my mat. Love no smelly smells on my equipment. I also use it when my pup has accidents on the hardwood. Also in all my bathrooms. We'll try it in my pup's ears when they get stinky. Thank you so much for recommending this product. It's like one of those things you don't even think about. You're like, oh, something doesn't smell right. You're like, okay, what? Next? Oh, we have to go clean some toilets. Okay, let's go. This is the greatest one-time everything cleaner, the bacteria killer, whatever, antifungal, best product in your house. Disinfectwithsniper.com. It's called Sniper. It is the best. I promise. I do not lie to you. Thank you for that, Robin. I love it.
No story anywhere else. Fox News is saying that Bill Clinton said he didn't know anything about his crimes, Epstein's crimes.
Right.
I mean, make it believable. Be like,
I never had sexual
friends.
relations with that woman. Okay,
Yeah.
That's just right there. And Joe Biden being a plagiarist, that right there.
Wait. Think about this.
You know?
If Bill Clinton came out and says, yeah, you know what? I hung out with the dude and I had sex with women. Like, if you were married to Hillary, what would you do? Every conservative out there,
Hey,
you take the oxygen away. Because everybody conservative be like, nah, I kind of get it.
I did. You know what he could
Hillary
say?
talk with her.
He could say that he had sex with Virginia Giuffre when she was legal.
Yeah, he could say that.
He could say that.
I'm married to Hillary.
She's deceased, right?
What do you expect? I'm married to Hillary. Take the oxygen.
Who's going to prove him wrong?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to your daily dose of facts to fight off the liberal gaslighting.
You can be in the middle of a hurricane.
You have sanctuary in the city of Chicago.
Or you can be on a calm day. North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I am angry. We are not going back, not ever.
North is still north. People can yell at you.
The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things. And in this business, right is still right, even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again. No.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, we're converting the Marxist left 1 hour at a time on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Well, hello and happy Friday, America. Greetings to all of you across the beautiful fruited plain. Welcome home to the Wendy Bell radio program. You know, common sense, conservative values, these are not complicated values. And when we tell you, we're going to tell you what we know. We're going to tell you what we don't know. We're going to tell you the truth. That's the deal. That's the arrangement. And if you keep coming back every day, then you know what we do? We build a family. And the family is growing. We're going to hit 25 million video views next month. We're going to hit soon, hopefully, 8 million podcast downloads. And I just say I'm a mom who can see things very clearly at 30,000 feet. So, hey, if you haven't gotten our app, join in the live video stream in the chat, wendybellradio.com. There's a lot going on in the world, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to unpack it after the most important part of the show. Welcome home. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. You know, we kind of got a vibe at the beginning of this week after the high of the men and the women's hockey teams coming home with the gold. That was a big story for a while. You know, Nancy Guthrie, she evaporated. Sadly, that story is now dead. And this like vacuum of news, there literally has been nothing going on this week, save for, say, Hillary Clinton, right? Bill Clinton is testifying right now. Does anybody really believe you're going to get anything out of that? Is that going to be some illustrative? Oh, Bill Clinton will be dead, right? Before anything even remotely happens. In fact, that's when the truth will come out, right? This is all the formality because the Democrats have nothing except Jeffrey Epstein. President Trump, meantime, and his administration has its eyes on Iran. And there's a lot of stuff going on. I'm going to tell you, I am not an expert at this at all. I can see the way you can, the way he is moving strategically, military machinery into the area around Israel right now. We know the USS Gerald Ford, perhaps, and I think it's over $2 billion. It is the most expensive and remarkable aircraft carrier anywhere on planet Earth. It has been kind of bobbing around. If a huge monster piece of equipment like that can bob, it's out there waiting for what? What's going on? I'm going to give you what we are following right now. And the national news has been on this since about 9 in the morning. At 10:24 this morning, and I'm going to say this is going to be time in another time zone because it wasn't here. 10:24 this morning, Friday, February 27th, United States Ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, emailed his own staff and he told them to leave the country today. Not next week, not when convenient, today. Mike Huckabee, the man Donald Trump personally appointed to represent America in Israel, sent an email to everyday embassy employees in Jerusalem telling them, look, anybody wishing to depart needs to book any available flight and leave Israeli soil before the end of today. The embassy has shifted now to authorized departure status, which means the U.S. government will pay for non-essential personnel and their families to get out. This isn't just an idle threat or a wish. This is a, hey, something's going to happen. The New York Times obtained this email. Timestamp is 10:24 a.m. local time, so we're going to presume that's Israel time. The language says no need to panic, but the action says panic. Look, when an ambassador tells his own people to leave the country, he's assigned to be paying attention to. It's not managing risk. He's clearing the best, blast radius that he can. Authorized departure is the second to the last step on the State Department's crisis escalation ladder. The only step above it is ordered departure, which is mandatory evac. The United States has not reached ordered departure yet, but at 10:24 Israeli time this morning, it reached the step directly below it, and the ambassador personally urged speed. Now, hold this against what's happened in the last 24 hours. Wednesday in Geneva, 6.5 hours of talks, right? This is the most serious session yet. This is State Department officials, right? This is also Witkoff. This is Jared Kushner trying to talk to Iran and saying, hey, no more nuclear proliferation, no more enrichment of uranium, no more nuclear anything. This is not a negotiation. This is mandatory. And Iran said, yeah, I don't think so. Iranian leaders yesterday categorically ruled out entering any new deal that forces the country to dismantle its nuclear facilities. This means to me, with this armada at sea waiting poised around Israel, all around the area, tells me that we've got more uranium to blow up. Yes, the nuclear stockpiles were not decimated. There were apparently multiple. Tehran's rejection of these core U.S. demands to dismantle all nuclear facilities, relinquish its uranium stockpiles, and stop enriching the material to make missiles with. Our proposal affirms that uranium enrichment is a sovereign right and proposes a temporary freeze on enrichment for a limited period, an Iranian official told Al Jazeera. America said not a chance and moved the USS Gerald Ford into place. So Trump has publicly said that the USS Gerald Ford is being sent and is in the positioning near Israel in case we don't make a deal. And you've got Israel now, all non-essential U.S. personnel from the country out, get out by the end of today. The Ford is the largest, it is the most advanced U.S. aircraft carrier. It's got about 80 to 90 strike jets. It's got a full carrier strike group. And its arrival effectively doubles the number of U.S. carriers in the region, creating one of the largest U.S. naval deployments in the Middle East in decades. And so what's going to happen? I do not know. But a sortie of American F-35 fighter jets has made its way to the Middle East. The jets will join those two aircraft carriers and assortment of other military assets in the largest buildup in the region since the 2003 invasion of Iraq. The assets provide Trump with the ability to launch a limited strike on Iran's remaining nuclear facilities. So there are more. Or to move forward with a larger operation that would target senior regime leaders and government infrastructure. So what does this tell us? I have no idea. I do know that President Trump is saying, look, Iran is the largest state sponsor of terror on planet Earth. They're the ones that train and fund Hezbollah and Hamas. They are not to be trifled with. They want the extinction of every Jew. That would be a great day for these people. And Trump is not playing around. You are not allowed, period, to have any kind of nuclear warhead or capability whatsoever. That is the deal. And Iran, economically frantic enough at the table, but said, nope, we're not going to do that. Now, backpedal to December. What happened in December? Russia sold Iran, $600 million of missiles and other offensive materials, right? So they know something's going on. Everybody's been knowing this, and Donald Trump has been moving his armada, if you will, into position strategically. The Iranian regime cracked down, as we well know, and we've heard estimates. The number of protesters in Iran murdered by that regime is somewhere north of 30,000. President Trump is not fooling around. There is not going to be an arch nemesis somewhere with their fingers on materials and a crazy in the brain that is baked into cultures and generations of them. Period. And he said, this is the deal. We can meet you in the middle in some ways. We can help you economically. Your people are dying. We can help you. You got to step away from the nuclear stuff. They said no. I do not know what this means, ladies and gentlemen. I do know that the vortex of news, the oxygen that is in the air, like I said on Monday, it's like everything got sucked out to sea, as though this giant tsunami of something is building past our vision, and it's taking all of the water off of the shore. So what is that wave that is about to hit? Where is it about to hit? Is President Trump ready to once and for all obliterate the threat of nuclear war? I don't know. But we're watching it. I don't normally give a monologue to that. By the way, La Villa Madonna Eagles, victors! 40-24. You got to love it, ladies and gentlemen. Quick time out when we're back on the Wendy Bell radio program. I want you to hear something Congressman Tim Burchett said. It's very poignant, very necessary, very honest. Rocked me to the core. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
40-24. That's a blowout.
I didn't get the whole rundown, but Michael said that it was really cute because he turned his phone on and captured the last few minutes or minute of the game and the celebration and everything. And they had a cake and sang him happy birthday. And then he and his friend the team got them beautiful basketballs, and they put, La Villa Madonna Eagles, JV 2026 champions, and all the boys signed it. That'll be something that
He'll have the rest of his
my son will have for the rest of his life. No matter how many times he moves, he's going to take that with him, which I think is just absolutely brilliant. All right, let me tell you.
Before you say something, can
Please.
I ask anyone out there? I know Bitcoin is big in Iran, and that's how they pay for stuff. If you have knowledge of that kind of stuff, email me, wbrbrock@gmail.com.
Yeah, we don't have we were talking about this morning, and he was talking about they're big in mining Bitcoin, and I'm like
5% of
it makes it sound like it's a physical, tangible thing that you can hold on to. Is it? I don't know. We don't know anything about it. I'm totally clueless, which is pathetic, but it's true. I am not completely clueless about let me see, what do I want to tell you guys about? Ivermectin tablets. Okay, so look, I've been honest with you about trying to get in with this Indian company. I do not like the way they communicate. I don't like the way they package their products. If you could get ivermectin for a third of the cost of other places, but you had to be kind of sketch on the source, it's not worth it to me. And I've gone back and forth with these people for months. In the interim, our friends at the wellness company do offer you ivermectin tablets. And remember, they were born after COVID. And this is Dr. McCullough and a bunch of researchers and doctors getting together to give you essential medication that you should be able to have at your fingertips. So what if a medicine helped save millions during the pandemic was being made mostly in China today? Because it's true, about 58% of the world's ivermectin comes from China, 75% from Asia overall, but not the wellness companies. Introducing American-made ivermectin. It is safe, it's trusted, it's produced right here in the U.S. Ivermectin's been prescribed globally for more than 30 years. It's earned the Nobel Prize in Medicine. New research also points to potential benefits for skin, immune, and cancer support. TWC.health/Wendy. Use my name and you'll get 10% off plus free shipping. All right. TWC.health/Wendy to get American-made ivermectin at a price you cannot beat. You can order a 6-month supply today and use code Wendy, and you're going to get that 10% off and free shipping. There you go. I still think there's got to be a way to get this much more affordably to more people. Well, like, doesn't it feel like you should take an ivermectin a day? Don't you kind of feel like that? Like, my mom always took baby aspirin, and I'm like, you know, that doesn't do anything for you. And then Joe had to tell her, and she's like, it doesn't. Ivermectin does. Tim Burchett has been an outspoken and honest, familiar voice for the last several years now. He is the congressman from Tennessee, and I like his no frills, hard work, honest approach to kind of having fireside chats with us every day. And he put one up yesterday, excuse me. And he's talking about the SAVE Act. Like, if you're like I am, it seems very logical, right? You have the majority of the people in America, regardless of race, regardless of politics, who believe that it's completely reasonable and should be required to be an American citizen to vote in our elections, that you need to prove it in order to register, and that you need to prove it again at the polls with a photo identification, period. This is not a heavy lift, all right? This is done in like 150 other countries, including Iraq and Afghanistan, all right, just for background. And you've got people in the Senate who are like, and Republicans in the Senate. First of all, no Democrat will go for it because they need to cheat. We all know this. You want the Republicans to be the ones to come in on the white horse and save the day, except you've got some dark riders in there. You got like fossils like Mitch McConnell. But what if Mitch McConnell was sort of like Joe Biden, a conduit through which crap can be done sort of surreptitiously without people knowing about it? Well, that's what Tim Burchett says in this audio soundbite, that it's not Mitch McConnell who's standing up in opposition of the SAVE Act and even getting it to the floor. It's unelected bureaucratic staffers behind the scenes because Mitch is completely incapacitated. Are you surprised? Listen.
Hey, everybody. Tim Burchett. I saw where Mitch McConnell was blocking the SAVE Act this morning. I think it's partially just out of meanness. He doesn't like Trump. Trump got him in office, sadly enough. He helped him in that last race extensively. And that's one thing I value in this game is loyalty, and apparently he doesn't. But he's blocking the SAVE Act. Or is he? Is it him or a staff member? Because, as you know, he's a lot like Joe Biden was in his last few days in office, or last years in office. Last 4 years, really, his cognizant level is diminishing daily.
You know, this thing ain't supposed to be some retirement village. It's supposed to be the United States Congress and the Senate. But here's what it's turned into, and it is wrong. You've got staffers that are running this thing. The lady that I asked those questions of, it turns out for over 6 weeks, she never showed up and nobody knew where she was, but her staff kept running the office, and she was in a retirement village for people that were in cognizant decline, to put it lightly. And that's what's going on in Washington. You've got these staffers, again, that are too close to the lobbyists, too close to whatever, and they're running the show, and it needs to stop. I've called it out. I've called it out to our leadership, and they do nothing about it. But this is where we're at. The SAVE Act is stopped because Mitch McConnell. And he's got a staffer that's running his show, not him. So anyway, it's a pitiful state. You need to get a hold of our leadership and let them know this cannot continue. Cannot continue. Thank y'all for sending me here.
We have the 25th Amendment. In the event, what, 2/3 of Congress or the cabinet, whatever it is, I think the cabinet is the one that has to come forward and be like, we have a problem with this president. But there's no mechanism by which we can call out a completely incapacitated sitting member of Congress or the Senate and get that person out and get somebody in to represent all of the people that senator or congressperson represents. So I searched, I'm like, well, what do you do? Like, how do you demand that Mitch McConnell, like, let's see signs of life. Show me proof of life. Would anybody out there be even remotely surprised if any member of Congress died behind the scenes and you didn't know about it so they could allegedly vote? I wouldn't. I wouldn't be surprised at all. I want proof of life. I want to talk to Mitch McConnell, not me physically, but I think we should have somebody. Let's see how acute he is. Are you able to vote? Are you even aware of what the hell is going on? Because the last several times we've seen the statue, he's frozen and there's some like caretaker next to him on his left who's like, are you okay, Senator? No, he's not. He's 150. Move along. A congressional incapacity amendment to the United States Constitution. You know, they've kicked this around for a long time. And I want to read this to you because this is unacceptable. This is not representation. The U.S. Constitution provides little proper recourse for the incapacitation of a member of Congress. That's a problem. As of today, if a senator were to suffer from, say, a stroke, said senator's constituents would lose half their representation in the Senate for upwards of months or even years. This happens. So say you're sworn in, you're a newly elected senator, you've got 6 years ahead of you, and next Tuesday you get hit by a car and you're put in a coma. Okay, well, for however long you're in the coma, nothing's being done for your constituents on your behalf. Does that make any sense to anyone? No. But as the story unfolds that you and I are on together, we're going to begin to see more and more clearly the depravity and the desperation to stay in control. Because when you're in power, you can continue doing all of the things that these people are doing. Whether it's raping children, buying and selling humanity, doing drugs, having gay sex in the Senate chambers, voting against measures, getting rich off of measures, insider trading, doesn't matter. Nobody is held accountable. It is a party, and we're not invited, but we do pay for the bill. That's unacceptable. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, let's talk about Hillary. How'd she do yesterday? Apparently, she wasn't too pleased with some of the questions. And she did a lot of this. You'll have to talk to my husband. Well, Bill just denied doing anything or saying anything. Shocker. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Like it's not acceptable that after so many years, after 250 years of being a country, we haven't put pen to paper and been like, okay, so what's the deal if we have somebody who gets struck by lightning and they still have a pulse, but they're in a coma? What do we do about that? Who steps in on their behalf? Is it all of a sudden you're just shafted? That's not fair.
The senator doesn't the governor of the state get to replace him? But who cares? Mitch McConnell doesn't, and that's a Democrat, Andy Beshear. But McConnell doesn't do anything for Republicans anyways. So what?
The dude has been there for 41 years. Bye. This John Curtis guy who was the head of the Democrat Party in Utah, and then he decided to just switch and run as a Republican. Like, what? Are you for real? And now he's like, I'm not going to vote for the SAVE Act. I believe in cheating. I mean, I think that's racist. I mean, like, who are you, dirtbag?
I would say Mitt Romney's hand-picked successor.
Let me tell you guys about GLP-1 Gold. This is my friends from Juvenon. And everything I talk about at Juvenon, whether it's this GLP-1 Gold for weight loss, this isn't just like a few pounds. This is for weight loss. This is firing into that hormone and that talks to your belly and your brain that says, okay, stop eating. And a lot of people, that doesn't function. And so that's why a lot of people get the shots. And the shots work, but a lot of people are worried about the shots. Because Joe is telling me that muscle mass is a problem longitudinally with people who are taking these weight loss shots. What if you're taking the shots to lose weight, but then you're so you have this weird trade-off and you don't know what the trade-off is. This is a product that comes from nutraceuticals. This comes from plants. It comes from stuff out there in nature, not from a lab, not from Pfizer. Not from people we don't trust. It's called GLP-1 Gold, and it is a supplement designed to support natural GLP-1 pathways. That's that message firing that control how much you eat. And I'm telling you that it works. It works or they wouldn't be selling it, and you can try it for 30% off. Hey, if I'm thinking about taking something for weight loss, I want something that's safe and from nature before I go all out with something I'm injecting into my body. That's just me. And you get it from bloodflow7.com/Wendy. Wendy30 is the promo code on all of this stuff. Support natural GLP-1 pathways for better appetite control, feel full sooner, and quiet the cravings the smart way. You know, it was interesting when we got our DNA stuff done by Dr. Dubiak at Body by Name 360. He gave me some pointers. It was super interesting. It talked about circadian rhythms, about your sleep, about various things about your metabolism, things in your DNA that you would never know. And then it said something very interesting to me about eating after 7:30. Don't do it. And I sat there last night with a big bowl of popcorn at 9. And I thought about that. And then I tried to pawn off the popcorn on Bobby. And he's like, no, I gave up late night snacking for Lent. And I'm like, okay, snap. But it's interesting what you learn about yourself as you start doing some of these things with our medical professionals on this program. I love them. I trust them. All right. So anyway, we're going to keep our eye on what's going on with Iran, Israel, us, the Gerald Ford, the Lincoln, all of these.
Just read this tweet by Clinton.
Did you send me something?
I just did.
Oh.
It's his tweet inside someone's tweet.
I want to read this one thing from this guy first. This Shanaka Anselm Pereira, his account is like, wow.
Yeah, he's all over.
He's all over this. And I freely admit, it's not my ball game. All right, you sent me something on Clinton. Oh my God.
So no pet show tomorrow, but Sunday, 7 a.m. Attila, you said Attila's going to join us?
I don't know. I haven't talked to, no, I haven't said that yet. I haven't.
Then I take that back.
I haven't solidified anything, no. All right.
I just gave out fake news.
What you're going to hear from Hillary, and not Hillary, but she's a master pivoter. Pelosi is she's a runner-up. But they're always good at stopping the accusation, twisting it, and throwing it back on Trump. It's always back on Trump. He's the number one favorite piñata. The guy who's clean.
Trump did it.
The guy who's never done anything demonstrable that has ever been proven. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. You know, when I think about all the many ways in which they've tried to get Trump, whether it's impeachment or indictment or dossiers or fake news or Russia collusion or January 6th or Fonnie Willis or Alvin Bragg or Letitia James or E. Jean Carroll, it's like this revolving door of blame that's never stuck the landing. It's got to suck to be a Democrat deep stater right now. It's really got to be frustrating. Like literally, I don't know what else you have to do. But Hillary Clinton is not finished using Donald Trump as the perennial whipping boy pinata, excuse deflection of everything that they are credibly accused of. Does anybody out there not think that Bill Clinton was banging girls on whatever island or plane or what have you? I mean, like, please, like, I don't understand why Democrats are propping up this guy who years ago was like, I never had sexual relations with that woman. I mean, like, is that not totally disqualifying of every other thing you would ever think about that cat? And they want to memory hole that. They're like, no, that didn't happen. No, believe Bill Clinton. He was just being a great philanthropist. He and that great guy, Jeffrey Epstein, with the deep pockets, who was helping finance the Clinton Global Initiative and gave like $1 million of seed money for the production company that was going to put out the big launch of the Clinton Clinton Global Initiative, right? We were just talking about paperwork. We were just going over, what flowers should we have on table 26? Right. The plane, the mattress in the back, I'm sure they were never back there, of course. So you're supposed to believe none of that. These people, the Clintons, are totally innocent. Hillary didn't know anything. I never personally met him. Never. I mean, it's weird. But Ghislaine was somebody's +1 at Chelsea's wedding. Who's the mystery person? I don't know. Hillary Clinton says she had no relationship with sex traffickers, Epstein, or Maxwell. Okay, I answered every one of their questions as fully as I could based on what I knew. Look, there is supposed to be a penalty for perjury, but really we've not seen it used so far in recent memory. I mean, Chris Wray lied under oath, and Tony Fauci lied multiple times under oath. Hunter Biden lied multiple times. Alejandro Mayorkas, Merrick Garland. I mean, like, honest to God, is anybody sitting there when you get the transcript or you watch the video of Hillary Clinton testifying, you're going to be like, right. So whatever. All she says is, you'll have to ask my husband. What about these pictures? Oh, you'll have to ask my husband. And she said that like a dozen times, like it was the fifth. Well, here's James Comer, right? She said that she'd never met him. Well, that's not the evidence that we have.
Well, she said many times under oath that she had never met Jeffrey Epstein. The reason she was asked so many times is we kept presenting new items of evidence, emails from Epstein where he implied that he was very close with the Clinton family, including Hillary. Emails that implied that he set up the Clinton Foundation, that he was one of the biggest donors and one of the main early seed money raisers for the Clinton Global Initiative. And when we asked about that, Hillary said she didn't have anything to do with the Clinton Global Initiative at that time because she was a U.S. senator. So she was asked many times about questions with respect to Jeffrey Epstein because there were many forms of evidence in the documents that have been released by the Department of Justice and the estate that included her name in there. And she kept saying not only did she not have a relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, that he was a shyster and he was a con artist and all of that.
It's easy to say things about people who are allegedly dead, right? Isn't that true? It is, because they can't refute it. I had no idea. We got some details about that that's a little bit odd. It doesn't really wash with what she says. And in fact, we're going to get to it after we hear from Nancy Mace. Nancy Mace, representative from Florida, she's walking in to the Bill Clinton deposition today in Chappaqua, New York. And she says this, a reporter is asking about what Hillary had said. And they're like, look, we're going to put out the video. We're going to put out the written transcript so all of America can see and you can decide. This is all a giant smokescreen, right? It's all a giant smokescreen. There's other stuff going on under the surface here. But here's Nancy Mace describing the way in which Hillary Clinton, her demeanor, if you will. Look, if you don't have anything to hide, there's really no reason to get angry. There's no reason to hide from questions. There's no reason to ignore a subpoena. There's no reason for you to need to be on the brink of a congressional lawsuit. This is what Nancy Mace said about Hillary Clinton's demeanor.
No, she didn't want to answer any questions about any of that and deferred most of those, if not all of those questions, to her husband. And he will be thoroughly asked about that today. What did he know? When did he know? What did he see? Because there are other people who've come forward publicly, like Kevin Spacey, who thought all of this was very strange and actually a very high risk for a president of the United States or former president. It's all very bizarre, but I asked her very pointed questions, and you'll see that in the transcript in the video that comes out, and you'll see how she responded as well, screaming. Now, there is no need to scream when you're innocent. I mean, it's just not a conflict. And you'll be asked the same question 50 million times and you don't get caught up. You don't have to manage lies because you're telling the truth. I didn't do that. I wasn't there. I wasn't a part of that. Oh, my husband was, and she was as well. Now, we're going to get to some of that because we have obvious information. It's on public record, and we've known about it for the better part of 6 years. That it would be very odd for Hillary Clinton to have not met Jeffrey Epstein, considering she and Bill and Chelsea spent a lot of time. They were kind of besties on Epstein's New Mexico ranch, where a bunch of God knows what was going on. We're going to talk about that. So anyway, in the middle of this deposition yesterday, Lauren Boebert takes a picture. Congresswoman Boebert takes a picture of Hillary and sends it to Benny Johnson, the podcaster, right? And somehow, during the proceedings, Hillary Clinton's lawyers catch wind that this has happened. And this is going to create the necessary diversion they need for Hillary to storm out in an outrage and to be defiant, to be like, I can't believe that you would take a picture of me in these private settings. Blah, 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 blah. So here's how that went down. Hillary's lawyer abruptly halted the Epstein deposition Thursday after a photo of Hillary was leaked to conservative podcast host Benny Johnson. Bill and Hill agreed to testify. They didn't agree to do anything. They were strong-armed into it because the Democrats are done carrying their baggage, right? Hillary is testifying before this, is testifying at an office in Chappaqua, New York. All hell broke loose after a photo of Hillary Clinton mid-testimony leaked to Benny Johnson. She stormed out of the room over the photo, and when she came back in, she reportedly sparred with Chairman Comer. This is according to MS Now. The deposition eventually resumed. Photo provided by Congresswoman Lauren Boebert. I want you to hear how this is what I want you to hear what Boebert said to Matt Gaetz after the fact. She actually had kind of a legendary response. But I want you to hear what Lauren Boebert said to Matt Gaetz. I mean, photos of Bill swimming with young women, getting massages by them, and taking photos all over the place at Epstein's Island and in his private ranch. What did Hillary have to say about that, Congresswoman Boebert?
The Oversight Committee you sit on has released these photos of Bill Clinton with all of these women on Epstein Island. Did anyone show those photos to the former First Lady and ask her if that indeed is her husband?
Yes. So the secretary was shown photos of former President Bill Clinton with photos that were released in the Epstein files. And she did admit that it was her husband, but she could not admit where they were, when they were taken, who they were taken with, and why they were taken, and what he was doing with those women. So it was very difficult to actually get any truth from her. But we did hear from Mrs. Clinton regularly that the committee should ask her husband these questions if we want answers. And so we are going to be asking Bill Clinton questions tomorrow and see if he can recall why he was in hot tubs with these young girls and receiving massages from women, and what exactly he was doing all those times on the Lolita Express and on Jeffrey Epstein's island. Since Hillary Clinton could not recall the conversations that she personally had with her husband once she learned about these images, we are going to take it directly to Bill Clinton himself tomorrow.
So Monica wasn't enough. Don't you wish you were on the wall for that one? Bill Clinton defends 20-year-old racy Epstein files photos. I saw nothing, he said, and I did nothing wrong. This is what he tweeted. As someone who grew up in a home with domestic abuse, not only would I have not flown on his plane, if I had any inkling of what he was doing, I would have turned him in myself and led the call for justice for his crimes, not sweetheart deals. That's masterclass deflection, right? Turn it around. Well, Boebert had an epic response to Democrats who were throwing hate on her for leaking Hillary Clinton's photo during the Epstein deposition. I mean, you got to love her response. Let me see what she said. No U.S. ambassadors were harmed in the taking of today's photo, she wrote, right? The post by Boebert, of course, in reference to the U.S. ambassador, Christopher Stevens, being killed in Benghazi, you know, over the video, right? I mean, this is how this woman has lied to us. What? A private server? You think I washed it down, wiped it off? Like what? Like with a cloth? This is a woman who wants you to ask her husband. She's going to play the wife who doesn't know anything. I'm just the meek wife here. He was the president. You should ask him. I mean, like Hillary Clinton just took the bus and she went beep, 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 and she backed it up over Bill. And then she's like, is he completely under the tires? Okay, hold on. Let's go forward. And then beep, 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 backed up over him again. You'll have to ask my husband. Lauren Boebert trolling them. I don't know how I feel about taking pictures and all of that stuff. It just seems so demeaning and juvenile in a conversation that is so serious and so despicable. The whole apparatus, the whole bribery and blackmail apparatus that was Jeffrey Epstein is a microcosm of the entire blackmail and bribery apparatus that is your American government. That's what it is. That's why people vote against certain things and they vote for certain things. And you're like, wait a minute, that makes no sense until you realize there's gay naked photos of someone somewhere or someone with a horse. Who knows what they're doing, ladies and gentlemen? It's not leading the United States. It's not making the decisions like passing the SAVE Act that 85% of Americans want. And there's never any responsibility. There's never any culpability. There's never any change. The same way there's no way to get rid of a Mitch McConnell who's a statue. I'm done with this. When we come back, let's go over the demonstrable evidence we have that not only did Hillary meet Jeffrey Epstein, she spent a hell of a lot of time with him on his real estate. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
You have to love her excuse of, I didn't have anything to do with the Clinton Foundation because I was a senator. Well, when you were the Secretary of State, you were taking money to the Clinton Foundation.
You guys got like $400 million. Where did it go?
Yeah, they only spent 10 at Chelsea's wedding.
Chelsea's got 13 cars, 8 homes, and an ugly husband. I mean, what more could you ask for?
Well, it's not like
I don't know who her husband is, and I'm talking out of my rear end.
Can I read something? I sent it to you. Maybe you read it. DC Drano, a text.
Go ahead.
Jeffrey Epstein was convicted of child sex crimes in 2008, yet his closest confidant, Ghislaine Maxwell, was Chelsea's wedding in 2010. When asked about it, Hillary said she was just a plus one. Every guest. Now, this is DC Drano. He was part of presidential stuff. Every guest, especially plus ones at a major political wedding with former U.S. presidents, are always cleared by the couple, their families, and Secret Service background checks. Hillary knew Ghislaine was coming to the wedding and almost certainly approved it herself.
I don't know who they are.
And he's an attorney, too.
DC Drano, Rogan O'Handley? Yes, he is. All right, Texas Bullion, WendyLovesGold.com, you guys. This is the time. Let's see what's going on with the price of gold and silver right now, where we are. Oops. Wendy loves gold.
Ooh, silver and gold are both up. Gold's up $58. Silver's up almost $7.
So silver right now, which Brock got at $35 an ounce. 33 is now almost triple that, $94. Gold is now at $52.37. which I think is holy cow. So unlike the value of the dollar after we left the gold standard in 1971, the value and the purchasing power of it went down into the toilet. We lost 90% of it, if you think. So really anything that was $1 back in the day in 1971 is $9 now. It's like, great job, everybody. But the value of precious metals continues to go up. It has skyrocketed 7,000% in that same 54 years, right? 55 years. So this is why I say you need a person that you can trust. You need a company that stands up for something, and they are patriots. They are conservative people like we are. They love this country, and they want to help you save for the future, whether it's by getting it into your retirement monies or it is in like hot little hands, holding on to coins, holding on to silver, gold buffaloes, rounds, bars, bricks. I have bricks of silver. That's a weighty thing, and they're fabulous. I love them. 855-927-5557, wendylovesgold.com. They are bien bueno. I love them. I know.
You know I don't speak English.
Wow.
English.
Wow. No.
And I struggle with it.
So that's great. That is great.
If you've purchased from Texas Bullion, we want to cut. With these kind of rates.
I know you're making money.
Yeah.
I know you're making money. Remember your favorite girl. Don't remember him.
What?
All you need is
And the rich
me.
just get richer.
All you need is me.
Poor get poor.
That's how you become a 1%er. Steal
What?
it from others.
Well, you know, worked for Mandami in Congress.
He's still very popular in New York, they say. I doubt it.
Do they?
WendyLovesGold.com. Yes, that was what that thing was that Harry Enton sent. He's the #1 most popular political figure.
Oh, but no, I don't think anymore.
I don't know about that. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. So the I know nothing, I saw nothing, I did nothing. And if I had seen it, I certainly would have been the first to blow the whistle. I mean, that's the defense from serial liars. This is all performative. Getting the former president and former Secretary of State to testify under oath presumes that they take the oath seriously. It presumes that they would ever tell you the truth. People who are dark and dirty deep state snakes don't change. They're not all of a sudden going to have an epiphany and be like, well, you know, I did put my hand on the Bible, so I guess it's kind of like Wonder Woman's, lasso. I'm going to have to tell the truth. They don't. So for Hillary to say, I never met him, I know nothing. Well, that's curious because I'm going to read you something. This is from 2019. Bill and Hillary Clinton stated Jeffrey Epstein's notorious baby-making ranch almost every year after they left the White House. According to the disgraced financier's estate manager, who I checked his name, and I have not found that he's killed himself yet. So he's still alive, I think. The former president was Epstein's closest celebrity mate, and the Clintons, along with daughter Chelsea, visited Zorro Ranch a whole bunch of times. A former contractor who ran the IT system at the property told Daily Mail TV in an exclusive interview. I'm having a brain fart here. Sorry. The family visited the 10,000-acre estate in the New Mexico desert often, but never stayed in the main house. Instead, the Clinton family bunked down in a special cowboy-themed village created by Epstein, which is a mile south of his luxury mountaintop villa. They'd use one of the two guest houses, which looked straight out of the 19th century. Seen in exclusive Daily Mail TV images, the guest homes are next to the other traditional Wild West-style buildings, such as an old schoolhouse and a saloon bar. An American flag is seen high above the village, which is next door to Epstein's private airstrip, which is where he arrived on his private planes, including his infamous Lolita Express. This is all according to security expert Jared Kellogg, who was brought in by longstanding ranch manager Bryce Gordon to improve security and set up a camera system at the main house and the cowboy village. The security system
No, it was a surveillance system. It was so extensive. Don't tell me he wasn't collecting intel to use as blackmail. So Bill Clinton's press office referred the Daily Mail to a statement released over the summer. Again, this was 2019. I never did anything. No, we never did anything. Really? What sort of stuff was going on? The former president was Epstein's closest celebrity mate. The family never stayed in the main house, but bunked down in a special cowboy-themed village, created by Epstein. The guest homes are next to other traditional Wild West-style buildings. And apparently there was some pretty creepy stuff going on there. Let's listen in because, Fox News' Trace Gallagher reported this. If Hillary needed a little bit of a refresher, let's listen in.
Jeffrey Epstein's 10,000-acre New Mexico ranch has been compared to the HBO series Westworld because it has an elaborate cowboy-themed village. It's also been dubbed Baby-Making Ranch because the New York Times reported that Epstein once said he wanted to simultaneously impregnate 20 girls at the ranch to improve the human race. Former President Bill Clinton has said repeatedly the only Epstein property he ever stayed in was his New York City townhome. But a security expert brought in to set up surveillance systems at the ranch tells the Daily Mail that Bill Clinton frequently visited there and that Hillary and Chelsea Clinton also visited on a number of occasions. But the security guy says the former first family stayed at a guest house in the cowboy village, not the main house. The security expert also reportedly says the former president was Epstein's closest, quote, celebrity mate. And Virginia Roberts, the woman who claims Prince Andrew had sex with her multiple times while she was 17, also says she saw Bill Clinton on Jeffrey Epstein's private island for a dinner held in Clinton's honor. Clinton and his spokesperson deny that, though Bill Clinton says he only flew on Epstein's private plane 4 times, even though flight logs show that he took 26 flights on the so-called Lolita Express. Bill Clinton's office maintains he did not know anything about Epstein's crimes. The security expert, by the way, also said that on some parts of the ranch, surveillance cameras were not allowed.
And this guy who's talking, who was contracted to put up surveillance cameras, says, I wasn't permitted to even put a camera location on a drawing that we have for our records, which is odd that as a security professional, for me to give the best protection that I can, I need the full layout of the land. I need to see the nooks and the crannies, all of the blind spots, but they were limiting all of that access. The staff only lived in one house, but as far as I was aware, I wasn't allowed to go certain areas, but there were cameras all over the place. It's so weird. I wonder why that would be. Look, everything that the Clintons are going to say is bald-faced lie. We know this. They are serial liars. They are serial liars. It is what they do. It is who they are. We're not expecting anything out of this except that. But do you expect that the former administration will spy on you and put devices on your phone? Well, Kristi Noem said that's what she found at the Department of Homeland Security. What? Next. The details are so gross. I mean, in the pictures. Bill can lie every which way. I was only on his plane 4 times. Okay, well, the flight logs show 26. Well, Trump's name is on the Epstein list 4,000 times.
What kind of judgment do you have to get on a plane called the Lolita Express? I don't know.
Why is there? What if you came over to my house and there was a big massage parlor or massage table as like the centerpiece of the room, like candles and everything? You'd be like, "Yeah, what are you doing?" If you got on a plane and there was a mattress in the back,
then you're like, "Would you like a massage in the middle of your kitchen?" Negative, Ghost Rider. I don't even want a beer. I'm out of here.
So anyway, it's pomp and circumstance, right? It's a oh my gosh, blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's only like half of a day of news. They beat Nancy Guthrie to a pulp. That story. I guess she's just, I don't know, right? I want to tell you about the Simkovich Concussion Institute, the Cranial Movement
therapy. So when Brock gets back from going to the chiropractor and he tells me about the things that are done, he gets put into a chair and the chair does things and twists him around to get pressure off of various places. But then the chiropractor will come and do things for his neck and twist and do things that crack and release pressure and otherwise. This cranial movement therapy, Dr. Simkovich, that has developed is a way to address traumatic brain injury and concussion. In addition to him using his hands in your soft palate and around your sphenoid process to put pieces back into place that have slipped or otherwise that you have no idea are whack, but you know that you're not normal. You know that you don't feel right. You know that you have anxiety, you have sensitivity to sound or maybe light. Your personality has changed. You're more withdrawn. You don't feel like you. And there's a reason for that. And it's fixable. It's fixable. There's so much hope. That's why I'm saying, like, if you have chronic headaches, if you have essential tremor, right? If you have problems that you know that you're not getting answers from your PCP, 412-366-3700. Call Dr. Simkovich's office. Get a consultation. Talk to them. 412-366-3700. See if he can get you an MRI. See if he can get you in. See if he can get you fixed. Because he's helped thousands and thousands of people, including one of our very dear friends. SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com. They do what your PCP can't. They're not an expert on concussion. Doc Simkovich is. SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com. All right, let's see what's going on. Let's see if we got any news on Iran.
I haven't seen any. New open alert.
Wow.
I'm flying blind.
Every single senator now, every single Republican senator and Congress people are coming out saying we've got to flood the zone, got to call the lines, got to push the pressure.
But is that going to move the needle?
Well, I don't know. I
I thought Trump calling Thune out at the State of the Union
would move it. Right. Well, they've got to do some housing bills. Like what housing bill is more important than making sure millions of illegal aliens don't vote in our freaking elections? Right? Like there's only one reason why blue states are not providing their voter roll date, information. It's because they're packed with people who shouldn't be there. I mean, it's so obvious. Stop. Oh my. Wait a minute. James O'Keefe got undercover footage of a senior Department of Justice investigator confirming there is footage of Bill Clinton and Jeffrey Epstein having sex with underage victims on his plane. Rapes occurred while Bill Clinton was on the plane.
I have a question. At what point are you an agent where you turn the cheek and be like, I didn't see anything? Like, why did none of these people step forward?
Because people who do die.
Touche.
I mean, what is it? The list around the Clintons, 52?
58, I thought.
58? Like, there's a running tally of people who just disappeared, drowned. What happened to you? Oh, well, he was hiking and he fell off a cliff from 180 feet up.
What?
That's
he
not
shot
hiking.
himself in the head 3 times?
What? He stabbed himself in the back? Right? Josh Shapiro, what about that?
He drowned in an inch and a half of water, paddleboarding, naked. People really want your autograph.
Why?
I've sold 12 mugs already.
I told Brock we're going to sell out of his stupid face. People don't want mine. They want Brock.
Maybe you should sign one of yours too, and we'll send them out as a package.
No, don't tell me what to do. I'm loving it though. So we have 38 to go, right? She made 50 more?
Yeah.
Okay. So 38, and that's it. What's that stupid look for?
It's the only one I have.
People who don't know us will be like, she's so mean to him.
I
You're
do
right.
get those all the time.
You're right. I am merciless.
Yes.
Vicious.
I'm not going to sign it, Amanda. There's only room for one on there. I wasn't invited to sign.
You know what?
I wasn't invited to sign it.
That is correct. That's what we're going to do.
No.
That's what we're going to do.
You can't change the rules now.
It's your
You
mug
can't change it.
and your mug.
Then you have to sign one of yours.
Why?
Because I said so.
That's dumb.
New open.
All right, Kelly.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family.
If you don't use your newfound power, it simply evaporates. It degrades. What's the point? It doesn't grow because nobody becomes afraid of you because you're not using your power. The Democrats invested in Obamacare to the expense of losing the presidency in the House and the Senate. Their return on this is the creation of the belief in the minds of the public that only the government can run things in exchange for this huge leap forward in their agenda. The Republicans simply don't do anything like this. The Republicans, whether they win or lose, are not trying to advance it. That's why Trump was the nominee, and that's why Trump is elected president. The Republican Party used to be the opposition of the Democrats, and it used to be the small government, small taxes, individual liberty party. That's what it was known for. Even before you began talking about conservatism, that's what the party was known for. It's been a long time.
3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live. You know, I told you the story about my son, Michael, whose 26th birthday was yesterday. And he was in this nail biting. He's a coach. He's a coach of a JV Catholic grade school basketball team. He and his friend from Pittsburgh, a bunch of guys got a place and they lived together in Tampa. And they decided, Michael and one of his buddies decided, you know, we're going to coach a boys JV basketball team in the neighborhood, which is the greatest thing. You had two 26-year-old guys who are not married, do not have kids, do not have skin in the game, other than either a love of giving back, a love of sports, or a memory of young people who did the same for them. And so last night is the big game. And I'm not so sure Michael thought that his team was going to win. They were up against some pretty stiff competition, and they're coming off the stomach flu. And their boys go on to win 40-24. Michael sends a picture, video of the last minute of the game. The boys going absolutely haywire as the final buzzer sounds. And then, you know, jumping around, piling onto the coaches, and then standing in line and doing what you do. You shake hands with the team, and then you go haywire. The whole idea of sports, is it really about winning or losing? We could say, yeah. But it's that team thing. It's being a part of a team. There are people who play golf, and it's an individual thing, right? It's an individual thing. Basketball, the team thing. It's what we've all been craving for. This is what the U.S. men and women's hockey team delivered back to us. It's this flavor of kumbaya, this greater idea of community. And I think on the streets and in our homes and as average, everyday Americans, we are a part of a team. I'm not so sure our government represents that team. I really don't. Because when you can leave as a petty, vindictive, losing administration, as the Biden administration did, and let's be abundantly clear about this, Joe Biden wasn't in charge. It was Barack, right? They needed a shell by which they could push through just ridiculous ideas and try to normalize them on us. They weren't normal.
But for members of Team USA to go in and possibly plant bugs, recording devices in the offices of Trump administration officials, like you have to sweep the Oval Office for listening devices. You have to be that on pins and needles and on your toes. Yeah, because that's the world in which we live. This isn't Team USA. You know, the fantasy from the Olympics that we saw, that desperate flavor that we got of coming together of all walks of life for one common thing, and that was for America. That's not our government. And Kristi Noem said so yesterday on Patrick Bet-David's podcast, and I think it caught him off guard. It caught a lot of people off guard. I want to read you. I'll set this up. From thedailycaller.com, Kristi Noem accuses her own department, the Department of Homeland Security, of secretly bugging Trump official devices. Is that beyond the realm of possibility to you? Of course not. Of course not. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem said Thursday members of her own department secretly installed spyware on government-issued devices used by Trump administration officials, including her phone and her laptop, allowing staffers to record meetings and monitor internal communications. She said on the podcast that tech experts, including Elon Musk and members of his Doge team, helped her uncover what she described as unauthorized surveillance software embedded on devices assigned to political appointees. Noem said the discovery came after outside technology specialists examined DHS hardware and flagged suspicious software activity. Can you imagine if the pushback against Doge was partially fueled by concerns that those young men in that office, the Department of Government Efficiency, would find what the Biden administration leftovers put on all of the equipment? So somebody out there could be monitoring what this Trump administration is doing. Is it any different than wiretapping President Trump, right? As he's coming into office? No. Here's what Kristi Noem said to Patrick Bet-David.
Came into this office, it was, Elon and his team were extremely helpful to me. They helped me identify that some of my own employees in my department had downloaded software on my phone and my laptop to spy on me.
Stop it.
To record our meetings.
Wow.
They had done that to several of the politicals.
Wow.
And so we ended up bringing in people, and that was something that if you didn't have those technology experts here in the department looking at all of our laptops and our phones and recognizing that kind of software, it would still be happening today.
What happened to the individual that was had your phone that was being spied on? What happened to those individuals?
Fired. Brought in, polygraphed, fired. Yes, many of them out of that arm of the department that are in charge of security on laptops, phones. Also,
you think that's enough?
We had to.
You think
We have to
that's
sweep
enough?
my office on a regular basis to make sure that there's not listening devices in it. It was very prevalent, and I think that what happened at this department was individuals had gotten away with for years spying on people who were politically appointed and trying to stop an administration that was coming in and trying to fix this country and keep us safe.
To Patrick Bet-David's point, do you think that's enough? They were brought in, they were polygraphed. They obviously failed the polygraph and they were fired. Is that enough to try to subvert the will of an administration, to listen to classified information, to do what with it? To stop the success of this administration? Is that enough that you be fired? I agree with him. Is it enough that Hillary Clinton was only fined $120,000 or whatever it was, she and the DNC, for wiretapping Donald Trump? Is that just a slap on the wrist? Is that just a formality? Should you be able to get away with anything that you want if you have the right last name, the right lineage, or the right political party? Is that fair? No. So this is how the media portrays this. So the left wing, the Daily Beast, I want you to hear, this is the kind of garbage and filth that people on the left are swimming in. Here's your headline from the Daily Beast about Secretary Noem's allegation of being wiretapped, spied on. Paranoid Ice Barbie drops bonkers claim about her own staff. Paranoid Ice Barbie
drops bonkers claims about her own staff. I'm going to read you the first paragraph. The Homeland Security Secretary thanked a tech billionaire for exposing her employees. Kristi Noem is grateful to Elon Musk for ratting her own staff out. Noem accused the Department of Homeland Security employees of installing spyware on her devices and credited the tech billionaire with exposing them in an hour-long sit-down with MAGA podcaster Patrick Bet-David released Thursday. He tells him what she said, et cetera, et cetera. Noem also said she discovered a secure room called a sensitive compartmented information facility, a SCIF, that had secret files that nobody knew about on some of those most controversial topics. She said those documents have been turned over to attorneys. Her podcast comments about the deep state, shared on Noem's official DHS account on X, were quickly mocked by Homeland Security Democrats, who obviously would mock it because they might be complicit. So I'm thinking about this headline. Somebody who has deep ties to politics, who's been covering this stuff and is seasoned for decades, right, would be able to know that these are bonkers claims about her own staff. I mean, that's what the headline says. Paranoid ICE Barbie drops bonkers claims about her own staff. And it's written by this woman named Julia Ornado. She's got to be totally connected, right? So I did a little dive on her. You want to know what it says about her? Julia Ornado started her career as a breaking news reporter for GMA News Online, the digital arm of the biggest broadcast network in the Philippines. Last year, she got her master's degree from the Columbia Journalism School, where she majored in politics. So you have a young woman here with no experience, fresh out of grad school where she's been indoctrinated and groomed by Columbia's School of Journalism. Who else would go out and write this mocking a secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, a sitting cabinet member, making an explosive allegation that her own staff members left behind by the prior administration have been spying on her? And the Daily Beast, carte blanche, right out of the gates, calls her Ice Barbie and diminishes her claims as being deluded or bonkers. This is, if you don't pay attention to who the people are who are writing these stories, you might fall for the trap and be like, wow, that's kind of a weird thing for her to say. Why would Kristi Noem say that? It's because it's happening. That's called vindictive, vengeful, deep state sweat. Scared to death that it's going to be game over. Not fast enough for my liking. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, weeding out the traitors is apparently a daily battle for this Trump administration. Go figure. Kash Patel's been through it. We'll talk about that next.
So Fox is reporting that Trump is not happy with the Iran talks, hasn't made a final decision yet, but take it for what it's worth.
He didn't.
Alex Jones says he's already greenlit it.
Yeah. Well, it's just a matter of how fast can we get things organized. I don't know what he's going to do, but my suspicion is there's another facility somewhere in Iran, and they know of it. So they didn't wipe it all out with that Operation Midnight Hammer. I don't know what it was. That wasn't it. That was Maduro. I don't know. But, Trump likes to strike when nobody is talking about it. So, my suspicion is
Sunday. Because the Sunday shows are being recorded today.
I don't know. I'm going to tell you about Morgane's Fitness, though. Kelly Morgan and Morgane's Fitness got their merch sale going on right now. Brock, I think you confirmed it's still going on.
Yes.
And she's got great stuff. But this is the time to, if you have quite a bit of weight to lose, I'm going to say, or you've just let yourself go and you've got kind of saggy skin, you don't have a lot of muscle definition, it's easy to be like, oh my gosh, I'll never be able to do that. Well, I can tell you, you can do that. I want you to see this gentleman. It doesn't happen overnight. This is his progress in 8 months, 100 pounds of fat. But that's just amazing. Look at that. before, after. That's not with surgery. He didn't get surgery. He's working out. And that's what's great about the slow and steady weight loss coupled with physical exercise and actual strength training. It helps with the skin. It helps with the muscles. Kelly Morgan does it. She does it online. So it doesn't matter where you live. It's called 90 Ignite. Morgainsfitness.com. It works. The pictures I have are like, many months ago, I ordered the joint health and mobility formula from Healthy Cell. I felt like I got some relief, but not as much as I had hoped. I was getting tired of hurting, so I started to research what I should be doing to keep my 63-year-old joints healthy. I discovered that all the supplements they recommend I be taking were actually in Healthy Cell's joint formula, every single one of them. So I got serious about never missing a day of squeezing that gel pack into my mouth. A few weeks after that, I realized how much better I felt. So much better. I realized by not being consistent with my dosage, I wasn't reaping the full benefits of the nutrients. I've now got it on auto ship. So she orders it so that it never runs out. I've added the heart and vascular health to my subscription as well. I may not physically feel differently taking the heart formulation, but if it works anything like the joint formula, I know my heart and veins are being treated every day to things that help them work better. I hope Healthy Cell never stops making these products. I will never stop taking this supplement. If anyone is on the fence about these formulations, I would tell them to order what they need and to make sure they take it every day. You've introduced me to many products over the years that I swear to by this day, too many to mention. Your faithful listener since the kitchen days, Suzanne. HealthyCell.com/Wendy. I'm just telling you, consistency, she's right. It's all about consistency, and that's what I found with blood flow as well. So thank you to Suzanne. You're a rock star. We know you, and we appreciate you. HealthyCell.com/Wendy.
Kitchen days.
Oh my.
Where they tried to stop me from helping you.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we worked for free. Stir in the dark. And it is an inability to take responsibility. And the inability to take responsibility is wrapped in a candy coating that is hard and very difficult to permeate, right? And it's called outrage. The outrage over how dare you? Do you know who you're talking? That is the candy wrapping, right? That's meant to throw you off and be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be. I mean, it's kind of bold for me to submit that Bill Clinton was banging underage girls on a plane and over on the ranch and doing whatever else. What was Hillary doing? Was she sucking somebody's blood or wearing their face? I mean, like, what? That sounds so crazy. I sound stupid. I should probably just shut up. Like, before anybody thinks I'm nutty. Yeah, about that. You know, when you're not guilty, when you don't do dirty things, when you're not a monster, you don't need to lie. You don't need to be indignant. You don't need all sorts of avenues of excuses. You don't take the fifth. You don't say, ask my husband. You can answer questions. And you can admit if you did something wrong. But these people could never admit because they're never held accountable. Because the system doesn't allow it. The system allows Mitch McConnell to be whatever the hell he is, but to be mentally incapacitated. And for the system to just accept it, as that's the way it goes, right? The system allows depravity. I didn't vote for that, right? I don't know when things went haywire and off the rails, but Kristi Noem isn't the only person who's got to clean up the traitors in the administration. This is part of the process. It's about weeding out all of the people who allowed the old system to get as bad as it was. And Kash Patel just had to do it. He had to fire 10 people, 10 FBI agents who were involved in some iteration with the raid of Mar-a-Lago. And we were told Biden administration, Joe Biden had no idea. No, they did, and they orchestrated it. They coordinated it with the Department of Justice. They were looking for the binder. They're looking for the declassified information about all of this, right? All of the smoking gun material that Donald Trump has, right? The raid of Mar-a-Lago was specifically designed before that. It was a never before breach of the private home of an American president. NBC News reported that FBI Director Kash Patel had to dismiss multiple bureau employees connected with the 2022 search of then former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence, while also alleging that his own phone records were secretly obtained during the Biden administration as part of the investigations into Trump. Trump is the public enemy number one because he's the only one who's clean. He's the only one with this whole DC nightmare who's the outsider. At least 6 FBI agents involved in the August 2022 search at Mar-a-Lago were fired at Patel's direction, citing 6 individuals familiar with the matter. 3 of those sources said at least 10 employees overall were dismissed, including support staff, agents, and supervisors. FBI did not immediately respond to NBC's request for comment. NBC reported that the terminations occurred the same day Patel said federal authorities had acquired his phone records. Had acquired his phone records during the Biden administration in connection with the Trump investigations. He was a private citizen. He wasn't Donald Trump's FBI director. He was private. So was Susie Wiles. FBI leadership secretly subpoenaed his records, along with those of now White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles. They described the process as having been placed in files designed to avoid oversight. It's like Kristi Noem sang, and it got brushed off by the Daily Beast hack, the news babe who just graduated from Columbia with a degree in brainwashing, right? It was a quiet little throwaway. Kristi Noem was like, we were walking around the department, our building. What's that room? Why is that door locked? Where does that go? Kash Patel said the same thing at the Hoover building. What's that door go to? We don't have the key. Who does? Find it. And what did he find? He found a secret room with burn bags, right? And thumb drives and all sorts of other materials that were supposed to be destroyed. Why are we destroying things? Why would the FBI director not? No, they're so used to getting away with it, ladies and gentlemen. Even though they knew a new administration was coming in, they felt no urgency. There's a big time difference between November 3rd or 5th or wherever the election is and January 20th when a new president is inaugurated. They took no time to go through and pull out all of the documents that needed to be burned or shredded so that nobody knew what was going on. They were so confident that nobody would find out. Why? Because they're all in on it. Staffers behind the scenes. Planting spyware on Kristi Noem's devices, tapping the next to be FBI director's phone. It's business as usual, standard operating. And the news babe at the Daily Beast has no clue what she's talking about. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, my friends, it's the cost of being extreme. Did you hear what automaker Stellantis has lost by jumping into the green climate bed with all the lunatics? Oh my. Next. I'll be right back.
I think we're going to see a bombing this weekend. But I also agree with what Wendy said. I think that you obviously didn't get everything that you thought you did. But let's be real. Like, at what point are we just going to say Iran is there's no. Iran's like arguing with a liberal. What's the point? Do you want to see Iranian people die? No. The people that are fighting in the streets? No. But there was a video that came out with someone from the Iranian army. Who knows? I asked Grok if it was real. That Grok said yes, but take that for what it's worth. Like, do you believe anything? But that he said the Iranian army is behind President Trump and would like to overthrow the regime. But at what point do we say we can't deal with these people anymore? And it's just, you know, I know a lot of people don't like Israel, but like, should we have any country that's all about wiping out an entire population of another country or people? Like, didn't we have a problem with that in World War II? I don't know. This Bill and Hillary, we all just want it to stop. And right now, it ain't stopping. They're going to lie. They're going to cheat. They're going to steal. They're going to circumvent the system, and Republicans are going to let them. You know, other than the SAVE Act right now and maybe Iran, is there anything more important than that? Like, the SAVE Act to me is the most important thing we have going on in this country right now, period.
Do you ever notice that everybody bails at 1:30 in this building?
Well,
like,
they might have lunch.
At 1:30?
Well, it depends when they start.
It's kind of weird.
They start at 9.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know.
I've never had a lunch break.
Neither have I.
Right? All right, what's going on out there, everybody? How are you?
Once again, your chance to win a Wendy Bell autograph mug.
All right, so we just hit 2,000 rumbles. This is truly a bummer. I really need to up those numbers because we don't want to fall out of the top 10 on the leaderboard. The Disc Institute of Pittsburgh. I want to read it to you again. It was the sweetest thing that Doc Rafferty sent me. And I love that he's excited about his patients, and he is. He sends me this message, and it says, "This is my experience. My experience with the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh could not have been more positive. I had 3 severely deteriorated discs in my neck that resulted in significant pain and discomfort. I had lost strength in my hands and my arms because of it. I had difficulty sleeping at night for more than 30 minutes at a time. Like most people, I was skeptical that a non-surgical approach would work and was aware that many neck surgeries do not result in a good long-term outcome. I decided to receive treatment from Dr. Rafferty. I am now back to living life to its fullest. The pain is gone. I have full range of motion. My strength is returned, and I now sleep through the night without any discomfort. This experience has truly been life-altering. The entire staff are exceptional people, and they care deeply about helping and healing others." Thanks, Jim. Jim from Allison Park, Pennsylvania. 412-906-9600. PittsburghDiscInstitute.com. They are wonderful. They heal people, for heaven's sakes. 412-906-9600. Super proud of them.
WendyBellRadio.com is where you can get the mugs. Go to the shop tab.
I'm just touched by everything about these. And I think it was that Gary Varvel that I reached out to him. He didn't see my message on Twitter for months. And then he finally saw it, and then he vetted me, and he watched the show, and he watched it a couple days. And he was like, then he reached out to me. He's like, "I think you're my kind of girl. I'd be happy to come on your show." And so we had him on, and he talks about scripture. He's a Bible scholar, but he's not, doesn't pound it into you. And then he created these beautiful cartoons for us. And to be able to sell them because they're so special. I don't know. You guys are very special to me too. Thank you. Thank you so much for everything. I've been all cockamamie with my pages today. Like, what the flip is going on here, sister? I know. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. Little Led Zeppelin to get you going. Glad you're here. You know, I pay attention to the news as you do, and it's frustrating because I don't want to either. And it's almost become, it's like a game of Frogger. You guys remember Frogger? So I'm 55. When I was growing up in the 80s, Frogger was pretty big. Early 80s, I played it, loved it. It was a great game. The game of Frogger with the media right now is like you're dodging fake news. You got to try to get across the highway before you get hit by a car. Then you got to make it on like a log that's going across the river the other way. You got to jump over that, all without getting mauled by other things that are trying to get you, just to get to the other side to clear to the next screen. Every day is a game like this, but you're not jumping across those things. You're dodging all of the fake garbage news that is being bombarded all across these communities, our communities. And if you don't take the time to pay attention to who the people are who are telling you these things, you could easily fall for it, like clicking on the Daily Beast article. Well, if a 22-year-old is writing an article about geopolitics, I'm not going to really believe her. I'm just going to say, I'm sorry. You need a little experience before you can tell us that Kristi Noem is an ice Barbie. I mean, how demeaning and silly are you? But this progressive stuff, I mean, there's no getting across the highway or the bridge with progressives because everything they float is beyond ridiculous and beyond indefensible. So when we talk about all the climate stuff, all the green stuff, how do you guys feel? Like, do you feel the way I do? I don't believe in the hysteria. I don't believe that we're going to need gas masks. I don't believe that the ocean is going to go down 8 feet. You know, I don't believe that there are going to be locusts. I believe that the cycle of weather happens, right? We've gone through various ice ages, then we've thawed out. It is the way that it is. But if there's something that I can do in my own world or encourage my immediate family to do, if there's something that we can do that makes things better, if we recycle, if we don't keep the water on while we're brushing our teeth, if we, you know, if we are mindful of various things that are good for the environment, good for planet Earth, I mean, wouldn't you try to do your fair share? I would. You know, I'm not going to be a lunatic. See, but the lunatic part of it is that progressive Frogger that is the bridge too far. Because progressive it sounds good, doesn't it? Like, ooh, I want to be progressive. I want to be hip. I want to be in the in crowd. Yes, but no, it's what the Democrats do. They use words that sound good, but really what they're doing is quite the opposite. And you don't have to go far to find fallout from the climate alarmism stuff than by looking at one automaker, Stellantis. I thought it was interesting when the automakers came into the Oval Office not that long ago, and we're talking to President Trump about the investment. Okay, we're going to build our cars instead of being in Japan. We're going to do it here. We understand the squeeze on tariffs, and we understand what needs to be done. And we agree with you, Mr. President. We are going to invest in the USA. So we're going to build our next plants here. Stellantis guy, the CEO, was like white on rice on Donald Trump's left shoulder during this Oval Office stuff. And he was super quick to be like, blah, blah, blah. We're going to do all these things. Well, I find that kind of curious because Stellantis made a bad decision. And I wonder how nobody at the company hit the alarm bell and was like, you know what? You guys realize what you're suggesting we do. Make zero gas-powered vehicles, like in the not-so-distant future. And we're going to change everything we do. And we're going to change all these factories. And we need all these batteries. But oh my goodness, it's so good for the environment that we're all going to get on board. Is nobody at Stellantis? Nobody was like, shouldn't we find out if people actually want to buy only electric cars? Like, I love the idea of the hybrid, right? Where you have a gas-powered vehicle that has the electronic battery that you can run on, and so you power it by city driving. The more time you hit the brakes, your battery lasts longer, which is why the problem with the electric cars is on the open road. You're not using your brakes so much. The hybrid is great. You get like 560 miles to the tank, right? Versus 360 or whatever. It's a great deal. Why should we be forced into only one thing? You shouldn't be.
And this is the progressive lunacy I don't understand. And it affects people. It affects everyday average people on the street, people in your family who are wacko. I know. I've got them too. But it also affects big companies. Do you guys know how much money Stellantis lost last year when it jumped into bed with the climate emergency and said, we're totally down with this. No more gas-powered vehicles. How about $72 million a day? All 365 days of 2025, because that's what happened. Stellantis reports historic annual loss due to electric car write-downs. Stellantis, the multinational automaker with brands like Jeep and Chrysler, has reported historic annual losses after billions in write-downs for unprofitable electric vehicles. Look, the reason why I bring this up isn't to pile on Stellantis, but to say this is what's happening everywhere. This is what happened with the transgender nonsense, right? We're going to create something that sort of sounds like compassionate, gender-affirming care. We're going to put that lipstick on that pig, right? Ooh, it's so good. It's like progressive. It's so good. But what we're going to do is we're going to twist kids at the age of 7 with all sorts of pills from which they'll never return. They'll forever be scrambled. And then if we encourage them to go so far as to surgically mutilate themselves, the likelihood that that individual is going to have a rocky life is pretty damn high. But you know what? Screw it. Let's all go ahead and do that. How many children's hospitals did? Right? How many people forced you to get vaccines that you didn't want? Where is that speed, that limit from idea to full out, doing it with no common sense? I don't get it. Stellantis. Who thought that an electric-powered Jeep was going to be a good idea, right? What are you going to do when you're out in the woods or out on the beach or four-wheeling, whatever you're doing in your Jeep, which is one of the fun reasons to have a Jeep? Take off the top, open up the doors, let's go, ride, have the wind in your hair. Oh, fudge. Honey, did you not charge it? I thought you were. Really? It's the dumbest thing ever. And so now Stellantis comes out and they're like, yeah, you know what? We really didn't ever look to see if people had any interest in buying electric vehicles until we said we were only going to make electric vehicles. That's scary to me, right? Auto giant Stellantis on Thursday reported its first ever annual loss after looking guys, they made $6 billion the year before. They lost $23 billion. Like what? $22.3 billion. The net loss was impacted by 25 billion euros in write-downs, meaning we're sucking some serious wind. Look, this is happening in Congress, right? Everybody there knows Mitch McConnell isn't there. Everybody knew Kay Granger wasn't there. Everybody knew Dianne Feinstein was, what the hell happened to her face? I don't know, but she wasn't there. Right? And nobody says anything. It was like election night 2020. We saw the video, right? I didn't make it up, right? State Farm Arena, Atlanta, Georgia. Water main break. Everybody go home. Quick, put up the duct tape and the cardboard on the windows because that makes sense. What? Nobody said anything? And then they didn't even care to dismantle the closed circuit cameras that collected all of the evidence of them all night long, feeding in suitcases of pristine, never been folded, identical paper ballots into the machines all night long. And nobody said anything. Nobody was like, you know what? That's just so weird. I was there. I was part of it. I don't remember that being an election. It's not usually what I'm used to. Is there just no more morality? Or are people just afraid? What is it? I don't know. Did you guys hear about Greenpeace? Greenpeace has been ordered by a judge now to cough up like $350 million because they took protesting a crude oil pipeline in the Dakotas
Way too far. It was like the blueprint of all the George Floyd stuff because this happened years ago. Judge says Greenpeace will have to pay $345 million over this pipeline protest they did. Nearly a year after a 9-person jury found Greenpeace liable for $667 million in damages in a case related to the Dakota Access Pipeline, a North Dakota judge has said the environmental organization will soon be ordered to make good on the damages. Now, wait a minute. You got to hear what happened because this is so textbook. This is no kings. Energy Transfer is this company that owns the pipeline. They're in the Dakotas. They get all millions and millions of gallons of crude oil pumping through these pipelines every single day. And they had a Sioux tribe there. And the Sioux were like, look, you're going through our tribal land. You're going to disrupt our waterways. You're going to disrupt these burial lands. And whether or not that was true, they got some protesters out. Soon the protests grew, you guys. And they had 10,000 people protesting on this piece of land, like, green, don't drill here. Don't allow them to do this, blah, blah. They trampled the land. They caused all of this mess. And they got fined, and they basically got slapped with a fine that was huge. And a good judge, well, a kind judge, said, you know what? $600 million is an awful lot for you to pay. So we're going to cut it for you. It's only $350 million for disrupting this project for so many years, for totally trampling the land, for causing all of this madness, for disrupting everything. 10,000 people, right? You have to pay $350 million. Greenpeace's response: yeah, we don't have money for that. We can't pay for that. This is the cost of being progressive. Look, Zoran Mamdani, we're being told, is very popular. He's progressive. No, he's not. He's a socialist. But the people in New York who see him as that young guy going against the machine, he's progressive. Progressive equals bad news for everybody. Progressive leads to our children being groomed in school, leads them to make decisions unbeknownst to their parents and travel a path that's insanity. Progressive tries to justify bringing people from all over the world, from various cultures who don't belong here. It justifies it by wrapping it in some kind of overarching goodness. That's not good. It's called crazy. And if we're not serious about watching these people, the progressive candidates, your Democrat Socialists of America, ladies and gentlemen, they're planning on taking over hook, line, and sinker the Democrat Party. Period. It's already happening. We can't be like Stellantis. Come on, common sense. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, right? It's crazy. A floor vote would force Congress members hollering over Jeffrey Epstein to vote on releasing sexual misconduct reports against themselves. Did you hear what Nancy Mace is trying to push? And Lauren Boebert? Why is there a slush fund for Congress people to have sex with people and get out of it? What? Next. Is it progressive for U.S. taxpayers to have a $17 million slush fund that Congress taps into when staffers on Capitol Hill allege that congressmen or women try to rape them or do? Don't you think you should know about that? And there's a clause in this particular fund that makes it completely secret. Nobody can ever find out about it. That's interesting, isn't it? Lauren Boebert and Nancy Mace are like, yeah, about that. And they're calling out a Republican. Very interesting story. So how much do you guys really care about the victims of sexual misconduct and rape and abuse? Because these are the people who are hollering for everything about Epstein to be revealed. But when it comes to this congressional slush fund meant to pay settlements to get people to shut up about same sort of stuff, I bet you they sit on their hands for that. I bet you they don't vote for that. Why ever would that be? All right, I'm gonna sign this, and then you're gonna sign this. We'll both sign it.
You gonna sign yours? One of yours? Wow, you didn't leave me any room. I'll just write it real small.
Let me tell you guys about Blood Flow 7. Oh, I got a great one from our website today. A great message. And it's simple and sweet, but it's beautiful. Hey, Wendy, and this is from Mary. Mary says, I want to thank you for your recommendation of Blood Flow 7. I've been taking it for a couple months and I feel amazing. Right? I'm 55 and I have energy again. My husband no longer complains about my cold feet at night, which for him makes a more positive sleep. Something so simple to take, a big problem to make it be solved. So she feels good and she can tell that the blood flowing through her body is actually making it. So her feet aren't ice cold anymore, but her energy, that's it. Once you start taking it, you're not going to want to stop because you're going to notice the difference. I say, give it the 1 jar challenge, 1 can challenge. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy, promo code Wendy30. Nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is the special molecule in here. And you're like, what is it supposed to do? It's supposed to open up your blood vessels and your arteries so that more blood can go through. How does that help you? Well, you'll find that your focus, you don't like walk into a room and you're not like, wait a minute, why am I here? Which happens. You know it does, right? It also gives you stamina and strength. And the Blood Flow 7 for men, the Alpha Gold male testosterone.
Me like.
Yes, Brock, my kids like. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. Thank you very much for that, Mayor. Preach.
All right, I'm going to go on a 20-second rant.
Uh-oh.
Breaking. AG Pam Bondi just announced the DOJ has indicted 30 more anti-ICE church rioters in Minnesota. In a sweep this morning, 25 of them were scooped up into custody. Start arresting the real criminals. I'm tired of you're giving me the crumbs. I want don't give me the gristle of the steak. I want the steak, right? Pam Bondi. I'm sure she'll be on Fox News talking about it.
So the reason why I was telling you guys about Stellantis and Greenpeace and kind of an odd segment there, it's like the danger, big companies are making big decisions really poorly. And there's this weird woke jump on board. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. And you've got to pay up if you are a ne'er-do-well, Greenpeace.
Here's what it's all about.
So Nancy Mace and Lauren Boebert of the United States House of Representatives are pushing for a floor vote on releasing sexual misconduct allegations against House members, right? I think this, do you believe that if you're in Congress, if you're a senator or a member of the House of Representatives, that you should be able to do whatever you want with impunity, that you should be able to break the law, that you should be able to rape or sexually harass someone, that you should be able to stock trade with insider knowledge based on the committees you're on? I don't. These people do, and they believe that they have immunity to do it whatever they want. And it's kind of refreshing that you're in this weird position now because all these Democrats are like, release the Epstein files. What are you trying to protect? Wealthy people, Donald Trump, what are you protecting? Well, how do you feel then about releasing our own files? Why don't we just be, if we're going to be so transparent, right? And Trump said, okay, you're right. Let's release everything. And he has. He can't help it if things have been redacted. I don't know. I don't know what's involved with that. But Lauren Boebert and Nancy Mace are like, let's do this. And I want to read this to you. Representative Nancy Mace joins or plans to force a House vote next week on her resolution to release sexual misconduct and harassment reports involving members of Congress. She told NBC News yesterday. The South Carolina Congresswoman's resolution would require the House Ethics Committee to release all sexual misconduct or harassment reports involving members or their staffers. Like, here's naive me. I'm like, I'm not taking a job in Congress to have sex with people. I mean, call me crazy. I would think that if I'm running to be your representative, I'm going to go there and actually want to do the job. Apparently, I'd be in the minority, because there's a complete shield for these people. So Mace introduced
this measure. Let's just just be transparent with the people. After numerous outlets, including NBC News, revealed that GOP rep Tony Gonzalez, Republican from Texas, sent sexually explicit text messages to a former aide with whom he allegedly had an affair. The aide later died by suicide, and an attorney for her husband confirmed the authenticity of the texts to NBC News. Gonzalez denies it. Right? He suggests he's a victim of blackmail. But did you know this slush fund has already paid almost $20 million to people who have alleged sexual malfeasance, rape, whatever it is, and that you and I pay for this money to basically allow members on Capitol Hill to get away with it? Shh. We don't want people to know that. What will it take for you to go away? I don't want to pay for that any more than I want to pay for your abortion. Why is that happening? Well, Lauren Boebert was on. Who was she on with? Carl Higbie, right? Our boyfriend, Brock's boyfriend. He's mine too. It's okay. You can have a man crush on him.
He's a boy. He's not a boyfriend.
He's
a guy. He's a man. He's my man.
That's good. You keep backpedaling. Anyway, we both love Carl Higbie. Here's what Lauren Boebert had to say about the $17 million. Like, what?
Investigation into the slush fund of sexual misconduct payoffs. You're also being backed by Nancy Mace in this. This, to me, is so bothersome that we've had all these problems that are paid off by tax dollars, and Congress made this fund exempt from the FOIA.
Yes, this is one of the most disgusting aspects of the swamp. When I first learned that such a slush fund existed and more than $17 million has been paid out to Hill staffers, I wanted those released immediately. And now Congresswoman Mace will be bringing forward a privileged resolution to the House floor to force the names of the members of Congress who have paid out Hill staffers for the allegations of sexual misconduct. This is unacceptable. We are seeing things like Tony Gonzalez and the horrific late night texts that he sent to a former staffer who is no longer with us now. And, I've called for him to resign, to suspend his campaign. And I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. The American people need to know if this is the behavior that you are conducting.
Well, it seems like it was the behavior of Joe Biden. If we're supposed to believe all women like Tara Reid, right? She says that he did things to her in the hallway of the Senate office building, right? That's kind of shocking. Oh, you've got, what else? You got Andrew Cuomo. He finally got moved along for getting a little too chummy and rubbing some of his women in his office. Like, if you send your daughter to Washington, D.C. because, man, she really wants to be a part of the system, do you have to tell her to just be careful of the men trying to feel her up? I mean, you got a former president. You have a former president who was fiddling with Monica Lewinsky in the Oval Office who says, nope, never had anything to do with women with Epstein. Really? Like, the depravity of it is beyond. And we're just supposed to like walk away from this stuff. So when you're a normal person, please do not think that this is the norm. It's not. It's aberrant behavior, and it needs to freaking stop, starting with the former president. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, hour 3, why are American taxpayers paying for the sexual deviance of Congress? Oh, wait for this story. We found that there is a process by which someone on Capitol Hill has to go through in order to successfully file a suit against a sitting member of Congress. It's not like you go and you get an attorney and you're like, he molested me in the hallway. He whatevered me. No. If we're supposed to believe all women, well, believe all women after you jump through all these hoops. It's ridiculous. What are you sending me for that Nick Sorter said?
President, it just went away.
I got it. President Clinton testified under oath. President Trump has never said anything to me to make me think he was involved with Epstein.
Oh, he's trying to save his own.
Of course. That's, hey, Dawn. Don't hurt me, please. Healthy Cell, not Healthy Cell, The Healthy Fat. The Healthy Fat by Dr. Gundry is something I drink every single day. And I put some collagen in it, and I'm telling myself that it definitely matters because it does. I'll tell you that. This special drink in here, which looks like this, but you can't really tell. It's called MCT Wellness. But my drink that I have in here every day, this is for weight loss, but not just kind of casual weight loss, significant weight loss. Because Dr. Gundry developed this powder, which basically allows your body to release calories it's kind of hanging on to for whatever reason, whether it's preparing you for a long, harsh winter of darkness or whatever. Like, I want my body to drop those. Like, you can flush that out. Why don't you go ahead? He calls it the caloric bypass because that's exactly what this drink does, MCT Wellness. And he lost 70 pounds drinking it. Beyond that, I find that if you're already drinking water, why not throw a scoop of this in it, shake it up and enjoy it? Because what it does is it does kill your appetite. It definitely takes the edge off of cravings, and it lets you get through a chunk of your day without eating. So that's what it is. It's a dietary supplement. You can get it by going to thehealthyfat.com/Wendy, thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. There's a video there that is very educational, and I think at the end of it, you get 20% off. Drink a whole jar of this. Probably take you 6 weeks, 5 to 6 weeks, I would imagine. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know why I have 2 scoopers, but I do. It's just tasty. Tasty, and it works, and people love it. And Dr. Gundry says he's seen thousands of people lose even more weight than he did, which is mind-bending because he looks great and he's kept it off for 20 years. That's kind of nuts if you think about it. It's kind of nuts. All right. I'm going to peek ahead and see who our sponsors are. Might be next week. Oh, I'm getting my jokes. Let's see how the jokes are from you guys this time. Thank you. Wow. Wow. Oh. We have 5 ghost beds next week. Oh, let's go. You guys, can I just say, they need to have a package deal. Ghost Bed needs to call Cozy Earth and just be like, look, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a sale, and we're going to make America sleep great again. That's going to be the deal. New sheets, new mattress.
Well, Ghost Bed sells all that stuff too, I believe.
Who does?
I think they sell pillows.
I'm super excited that they're going to be back. Love, love, love them. Such a great process. And it sounds so dippy. You're like, why would I buy a bed online? But then again, we're buying cars out of vending machines. So make that make sense. Isn't that weird? That's weird.
I wonder if I got one of them to help my back. How did it feel when you were laying on it?
You know what?
Jack likes it.
You should come over. You should come over and lie on it for a little while. It's a hybrid. So what I like about it is it's firm, right? Like the gist of it is firm, but it's got a minimal pillow top on it that's not too squishy, but it does give you that like snuggle bug kind of Scooby into it, right? I'm not a sleeper. I'm a curl up and snuggler, right? In a ball. And it's super. You want me to see if I can get you one? Hook up Jolene first.
Let us sell a bunch.
Oh, let us sell a bunch. Okay. Well, let's hope that next week we're going to sell a whole lot
Yeah.
of beds because they're adding an extra discount onto their.
Are they?
Yeah. Their lowest price of the season. They're going to give you a little incentive. You guys, if you have any time to think about it this weekend, research ghostbed.com and then tune in for me on next week. And we're going to see if we can get some of you interested in buying them. Some of these beds are like $3,000. That's not Ghost Bed, but they're expensive, but they're not like.
They're not what I paid.
Neither with me. I'm super excited.
I overpaid years ago.
You what, 4,000?
Yeah.
But it worked for you.
It did. It did.
Does it still, you think, or no?
I don't know.
Hard to know.
I think maybe I'm just getting older. What's that like?
Facts. I'd love to mock that, but it is what it is. But I mean, you bring up a great point. That's why so many of the things that we talk about here, like legitimately, if you stick with them and you take them every day, you're going to feel so much better. You're going to feel so much better and not have a pill box. Whew.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family.
We're going to win so much. We're going to win at every level. We're going to win economically. We're going to win with the economy. We're going to win with military. We're going to win with healthcare and for our veterans. We're going to win with every single facet. We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live. We're paying attention to what some of the folks coming out of this deposition of former President Bill Clinton are saying. And the most recent scut that we could hear from James Comer, House Oversight Chair, is that under oath, Bill Clinton testified that he had no reason to believe that President Trump ever did anything with anybody, sexually speaking, deviantly speaking, related to Jeffrey Epstein. So maybe that's Bill Clinton giving President Trump, hey, don't be too hard on me here, buddy. But I'm sure he, we'll get the transcripts, we'll get the video, and we'll all be able to decide for ourselves. They hope it will take at least a week of oxygen because, quite frankly, there are no other stories going on right now aside from Israel, the United States, and Iran. What's happening there, we don't know. We're keeping an eye on that. We'll keep you posted if something changes. The last story I was talking to you about, and this is this juxtaposition of this outrage. It's the pile on to whatever is popular right now. We want everybody, all of the Epstein names named. The victims must have justice. I wish that it was really about that, but it's not. And sadly, I'm sure the victims who were raped by wealthy, powerful men for God knows how long know that it's not about them and it's not about their justice. And you have to ask yourself, if these people are so interested in all of the Epstein details being released, shouldn't they all get on board with Lauren Boebert and Nancy Mace and agree, yes, we should open up and reveal who's tapped into the slush fund, hush money fund that Congress has to settle sexual harassment claims. $17 million have been used so far already. I mean, that's outrageous. So I wanted to know, what does it take? Like if you're a woman on Capitol Hill and God forbid something happens to you, one of these congressmen comes on to you or what have you, and you believe that you have a lawsuit, that would be huge news, right? Wouldn't that be something that they would take very seriously? We'd take very seriously. This is the highest echelon of behavior in America, one would argue, where America's thought leaders are, and they do things based on how they'll represent all of us. Right now, they don't care. They haven't cared for years. They believe that they are immune as long as they stay in power. So I did a Google search. What does it take for somebody on Capitol Hill to credibly accuse a senator or a congressperson of sexual misconduct, rape even? You guys, it's ridiculous. I'm going to read you something from Politico. Again, the underlying theme here is it's a club, it's a party, and you and I are not part of it. We pay for it. But we're not part of what these people are doing. It is all the makings of a serious scandal. More than $17 million in public money paid since 1997 to settle workplace disputes on Capitol Hill. But the reality of what critics lambaste as a sexual harassment slush fund is more complicated, like much about Congress's policy for handling harassment complaints. The money covers all sorts of settlements, not just for sexual harassment, and some lawmakers cut their own side deals with accusers. Why would anybody? Like, honestly, what would you do that would render you named in a lawsuit? Let me think about that for a minute. A settlement negotiated on behalf of a woman who accused Representative John Conyers, Democrat from Michigan, her former boss, of sexual misconduct is just the latest example. The money came out of Conyers' office budget, meaning it wasn't even included in the $17 million total. What's more, because the multi-million-dollar settlement figure covers disputes aside from sexual harassment, including those over pay and workplace safety, it's impossible to know how much money taxpayers are actually doling out to sexual misconduct victims. The once obscure Office of Compliance, which pays out the settlements, doesn't release information in which the cases are broken down by category. And it says a large portion of cases it resolves stem from Hill employers other than the House and Senate, such as Capitol Police and the architect of the Capitol. But here are some other big questions surrounding Congress's notoriously opaque sexual harassment system. Like, if I told you that everybody there was just having sex and doing drugs and doing crazy stuff and stealing money and insider trading, and they were all protecting each other because it's a big game and everybody knows that at the end of the day, their team is about Team Deviance, not Team USA. And so they'll vote for each other regardless of party so that everybody stays clear. Would you be surprised? No, because I think that's exactly what's going on. So who knows when a lawmaker or an aide settles a harassment claim? The identities of lawmakers or their aides who reach settlement conduct or misconduct settlements aren't disclosed on purpose. And you're not allowed to file as a reporter Freedom of Information Act request to get the details. That was baked into the entire slush fund purpose, right? It allows them to do all sorts of nasty things and be credibly accused and settle those cases without anybody knowing about it. Representative Jackie Speer, a longtime proponent of reforming Capitol Hill's harassment policy, is winning GOP supporters for legislation that would make members of Congress personally liable for harassment settlements against them. She's testified that 2 sitting members of Congress, 1 in each party, have engaged in sexual harassment. And she described the compliance office as an enabler of sexual harassment, thanks to a process set up that she asserts put victims at a disadvantage. Oh, by the way, the only reason Politico is writing about this slush fund right now is because this article was written during President Trump's first term back in 2017. That's how long this has been a problem. But I want you to hear what you've got to go through if you want to be able to file a claim. So
Let me get this. The top Republican and Democrat on the House Administration Committee approved workplace dispute settlements for the chamber before they're paid from the Compliance Officers Fund, which Congress allocates money for in its annual legislative branch spending bill. There's no similar process in the Senate, according to Gene Manning, who set up the upper chamber's chief counsel for employment office back in 1993. I don't understand why they do that, Manning said of the House's policy. Well, I've got a few reasons for you. Manning added in an interview that she would be concerned that it might be political, you think? So you know what happens if you're a young woman and you want to file some kind of a complaint? Apparently, you've got to sit down with a counselor, mandatory harassment or mandatory counseling to go over your case, to determine whether your case has merit, to determine whether you can be basically forced out of not saying anything. And the case takes whatever. They've got 90 days to rule whether or not your case has merit. And if they say that there isn't merit, well, then you're supposed to just walk along and shut your mouth. And you know when Tara Reid said, when she went in front of this panel and said, you know what? Joe Biden did something disgusting to me in the hallway against my will. Apparently, she had to go through the training or this mandatory counseling session and have somebody in 90 days say, yeah, you know what? We don't really think that that's worthy of review. So sorry, case denied. After undergoing mandatory counseling and mediation, harassment victims can formally pursue a complaint with the compliance office or file a federal lawsuit. If the victim goes through the compliance office, a hearing officer with subpoena power vets their allegation in a confidential process and makes a final decision within 90 days. So there's a machine that's guarding the people, that's protecting the offenders. And the people who blow the whistle are the ones that, of course, are told to move along. And if they don't move along, well, then the watchdogs in the media will pile on them and besmirch them the same way they did to Joe Biden's accuser, Tara Reid. There is no such system for checks and balances in the House of Representatives. There is nobody following up on those who testify under oath and lie. There are no people monitoring Mitch McConnell's vitals to make sure the guy can even cognitively appear. Does he even show up anymore? Does anybody actually take roll call? What's going on? You do not need to know. All you need to know is that your taxes are going to go up because they have great programs, which I'm sure you're going to love. Call Stellantis. They're on the other line. They have a few reasons, about 23 billion of them, why you probably don't want to fall for that. The system is intended to insulate those in power, which is why they're desperate to never leave power, which is why they'll never vote themselves term limits, which is why they'll never vote against the whole Stock Act, right? It is almost impossible to credibly accuse one of these sitting members of Congress and to prove your case and to get justice. Sadly, all of this stuff involving Epstein and the Clintons right now is performative, and they know it. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, it's that weird place where being black and gay doesn't excuse your bad decisions. And Don Lemming, oh my gosh, he's got lots to talk about. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. It's not like you get protected if you blow the whistle in Congress. Now you're a whistleblower. Now your scarlet letter has been burned into your chest. Now you are a liability. You are a persona non grata. You might as well be a Republican poll watcher during the 2020 election as they were doing things, and you were basically told, get out of the way. You're not invited here anymore. We're doing stuff and you're not allowed to see it. So they just make your life miserable, hoping you'll go away. I wonder whatever happened to Tara Reid.
Did she have to move out of the country?
When you pile on the victims to prevent other victims from speaking up, it's almost like we can see that. All right, bodybyAIM360.com. This is it, the $99 blood work. The blood work is the key to you. when was the last time you guys were at the doctor? It's been a while for me. But I remember it was like this. Because the doctor had 4 other people in 4 other rooms around the hallway and he needed to get to them. It's like, how do I get you in? How do I get you out? Here's a prescription. See you later. BodybyAIM360.com isn't about the meat mill. It's about you. It's about your results, about your blood. It's about your hormones. It's about your objectives and you getting those objectives met and them helping you based on the research from that blood draw. So what's normally well over $1,000, you get now for $99. That is the blueprint. That's the roadmap. And you get to do it again if you so choose at the end of the program, right? See what happens and changes your levels, changes things in your body when you start eating right and changing the things that you're drinking and how you're living your life. That's what Body by Aim 360 is all about. If you want to lose 50, 70, 100, 150 pounds, bodybyAIM360.com. And if you want the weight loss shots, they've got those too. And they've got one you could take orally if you don't like the whole injection thing. 412-227-9255. 412-227-9255. BodybyAIM360.com. That's the secret sauce. It just is. And they do so much there. Oh my gosh, the IVs, the scale, the counseling, the meal planning. You get your own advisor. If you have questions, I don't know what to do, they answer. It's like a concierge. That's what they are. One-on-one with you. I love it. Chuck Schumer. Poor Chuck. I heard something that RFK Jr. recently said. I had Brock snag it. It's so worthwhile. 246. Oh my goodness, gravy. Do we have 1/10 of you out there? I need 500 people to click the thumbs up button to get over the threshold. That's all I need. 1 of every 5, 1 of every 10 of you. Whatever it is. That's it. Just oh my goodness. I love that this woman is taking on Don Lemon. You klutz. What a clown. I hope they pass the Slush Fund Transparency Act. I think we deserve to know what happens. You know? And if you're credibly accused of something and you settled it, you know, it happens, but you should be able to explain yourself. Donald Trump did with Stormy Daniels, remember? Oh, that's right. They wanted to indict him for that. Program. Liberals always want to excuse their behavior, their decisions, their actions with some baked in do-goodery or victim status. If you're a perennial victim, anybody who criticizes you is a mean aggressor, right? That's the road to progressivism. That's Frogger right there. Don Lemon is finding out about it. Sued by a parishioner over the Minnesota church takeover during the anti-ICE protest. Oh, really? Here's your story. New York Post, a churchgoer has slapped lefty activist news commentator Don Lemon with a civil suit for his alleged involvement in an anti-ICE mob that stormed a Minnesota church last month. It wasn't alleged. We all saw it. He made sure we saw it. Look at me. Look at me. I'm such a man. I'm going to interrupt this church service and I'm going to frighten women and children. Look at that one. That child is crying. That's the price of being uncomfortable. It was weird, right? So it wasn't alleged, New York Post. He did it. And some woman was like, you know what? I have the most crushing anxiety now because of it. I don't think the left can complain about that because they claim that. A churchgoer doing this, Lemon, 59, was arrested in Los Angeles for his role in the January 18th takeover of City's Church in St. Paul, which he joined with a few dozen local Black Lives Matter activists under the guise
of acting in his capacity as a journalist. I'm a journalist. No, you're not. You're a dirtbag. In the suit, Anne Doucette claims that the protesters' storming of the parish, which happened during a Sunday service packed with families, left her with severe emotional distress, fear, anxiety, and trauma, and that the rowdy agitators deprived her of her right to freely practice her faith. Let's not forget that it was only like 20 miles away and a couple months earlier that transgender person shot up the Minnesota church and killed, how many people? A couple of kids at a Catholic school in there praying on a Friday. So you can imagine this is a really bad look for Don Lemon. The suit obtained by TMZ also names Leming's fellow protesters accused of interrupting the service. Brock, you said Pam Bondi is indicting. They've got indictment or arresting.
Yeah, like 25 or 30 more.
What are they saying? They're indicting them? Or
They're
are they arresting
and rounding them up.
And rounding them up. Well, at least we got some movement going on there. The ousted CNN reporter allegedly linked up with the demonstrator who provided logistics and local contacts in support of the operation. In the chaos, Leming appeared to take satisfaction as he live streamed the event on his multi-platform show. Leming, who was arrested while covering the Grammy Awards January 30th, insisted he was acting within his First Amendment rights while chronicling the protest. Even so, he was charged with 1 count of conspiracy against the right of religious freedom at a place of worship and 1 count of injuring, intimidating, and interfering with the exercise of the right of religious freedom at a place of worship. He pled not guilty, grandstanded about the baseless charges. It's a typical progressive talking point. The process is the punishment with the Trump administration. That's it. The process is the punishment with the Trump administration, he said. Notice how nobody ever says, you know what? I made a bad decision. I shouldn't have done that. I got caught up in a wave of emotion and watching what's been going on with these ICE agents. I felt compelled to go along, and it was a bridge too far. And I should not have done that. And I am sorry. That might not change the fact that you're getting sued, but it sure makes you a lot more palatable to the rest of common sense America that lives their lives like this. You know, being gay and being black is no excuse for being stupid. And I'm so tired of the left expecting whatever victim status they're box checking they're going to cling to, whatever disenfranchised, disadvantaged status they're going to cling to as some kind of excuse. It's the George Floyd excuse, right? Well, we're going to loot and we're going to pillage and we're going to set fire to stuff and we're going to kill people and we're going to call $2 billion of damage because a white cop snuffed out the life of a black guy. Well, that's not what happened at all. And George Floyd made 1 million bad decisions that day, namely the toxic elixir of drugs that he decided to take that caused him to die. Such a shocker in the world of fentanyl and all this other stuff. Nobody, it was Derek Chauvin who killed him. Got it. And so that outrage justifies your illegal behavior. I'm sorry, it doesn't. And trying to blame the Trump administration, right? The process is the punishment. Because, see, this gets fixed really easily. Don't be stupid. Don't grandstand because you're desperate for clicks, desperate because you got fired and nobody's paying attention to you anymore. And by golly, all you really care about is clicks and being paid attention to. Look at me. Look at me. I'm the victim here. I swear. It's just so predictable, right? When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, my friends, what would you say if I told you $1 billion in taxpayer money that was supposedly putting solar panels on a bunch of California apartments? Yeah, if it went instead to funneling a Democrat political machine. I know, shocker. You'd be like, what? Yeah, that happened. Next. Right? It's never Renee Good. She was gay. She's a mom. Is this fighting for rights? No, she made a bad decision. And her gay wife, right, was the one who's like, drive on, baby. Drive on.
victim. No. She got bad advice. Bad advice. Ireland contracting.
This isn't bad advice.
Guess who texted me yesterday and told me he's got all of my lights ready to rock and roll?
Dan?
I told Dan I broke up with him for a little while because he pushed me onto the back burner.
Oh. How do you
I'm
take it?
like, Dan, you can't just call me like this and think I'm just going to come crawling back to you and
It's
say,
like a
yes.
booty call for lights.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. So I'm going to make him sweat it out a little bit. I'm like, oh, yeah? You think you're going to come over and put in my lights, huh? Well, you're going to have to wait a little bit. And he's like, all right, well, I already bought them and I'm charging you. So I'm like, anyway, Ireland contracting, 1-800-NEW-ROOF. These are contractors. These are home builders that you can count on. Contractors you can count on. Construction workers. They've got, what do they have? Are they Mennonite? Are they Amish? These guys.
I think they're Amish.
These Amish guys. Have you ever seen an Amish guy frame a house, frame a roof? They walk on rafters like cats. It's crazy. And it's like, bzz, 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 and you're like, which is why you guys build barns in a day, right? And this is the people that Gary and Diane Ireland have as their installers. So whether you're putting in a new roof, you're putting on soffit and fascia, you're putting a new siding, getting all new windows, whatever it is, exterior of your house, or the electrical, which is what Dan handles. 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com.
She didn't break out with Dan. She's just...
I'm going to be hard to get. It's cold. Jesus. Are you freezing?
No.
No. All right.
I'm wearing a sweatshirt, though, so. I have no idea. Oh, there she is. I have no idea where she went. Oh, it's business attire now.
You know, I think the thing that I hate the most about all of the stories that we've covered today is that the overarching theme is that Democrats are above the law. I mean, literally, Democrats are above the law. They can do whatever they want. And they do. And they keep getting away with it. And there's never any change. The Republicans are very disappointing. Very, very disappointing. I was talking to my dad about that yesterday. Like chit-chatty. How was your show? I'm like, Pops, I ripped on the House. I ripped on Republicans. He's like, good. Probably deserved it. I'm like, yes, they did. Indeed, they did.
I might adopt your dad.
He's, you know... I know it's so hard for him to be so far away from me. Just kidding.
I'll adopt him.
To not have my mom.
And then be like, hey, can you float me alone, Dad?
He's traveled so much for his business that he has all these miles. And so he's flying home first class from Orlando. I'm like, sucker. But like Joe said to me, he's like, you know how lucky you are. You have an 84-year-old father who is able to still travels across the country, makes his own reservations, goes on international cruises with his sisters, goes spring training in Arizona, you know, has lunch meetings set up every week for different kinds of friends, plays tennis on Tuesdays. Like
I feel like a blob now,
you know,
and a loser.
And
no, Brock, you're not a loser.
Well.
No, he's always moving. He's always doing something.
Yeah. And you know what made me happy? He had put on 5 or 6 pounds. You know how you lose.
That's good. Usually you lose.
I remember just when I got fired from my TV job, I probably lost 8 to 10 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't eat legitimately for probably 10 days. I probably nibble-nabbled and blah, blah, but I had no
appetite.
I had nothing. I was so distressed and so disappointed.
You would think like,
and then putting it back on is healthy.
Right. Well, when my mom died, the thing was everyone brings food to your house. And much like you really don't have an appetite. So everything just goes in the freezer.
Yeah. And you're grateful for it. But it's like,
yes,
ugh.
yeah.
Don Lemming.
He's a turd.
I love this good news today. It kind of tracks on with Michael. It's about basketball. I wonder if Toolsy is hung over today or what.
Yeah, he was in the chat.
He was.
Yeah.
I'm
trying to. I don't have the picture up. I'll show you the picture. The championship picture.
Oh, yeah, the video too. Yes, I will. .com. It is a joy to be with you, wrapping up another busy work week where we share with you common sense conservative values and we don't lie. Pretty simple. How many of you believe that the majority of the climate initiatives and hysteria is a scam? How many of you believe it is a new conduit by which money can be delegated or rather funneled over to some kind of cause that doesn't do anything for anybody, certainly doesn't fix the cause, doesn't improve anything, and then gets funneled elsewhere to support things that you and I don't support? Because that's where I am. That's why I look at Stellantis and I'm like, how did you fall for the we're going to go all electric? Like, how did you fall for that as a company? As one of the biggest manufacturers of automobiles in the world, how did you fall for that? How did California fall for it? They're like, you know what? Here's what I'm going to say. Hey, Earl, get in there. All right, Earl, here's the plan. Look, we got a lot of sunshine here in California, right? Solar panels, all the rage, but nobody's going for it. Well, what do you say? We try to get together some kind of a plan where we make a lot of people, we make them spend a lot of money on a bunch of solar panels, we pretend that it's going to lower the cost of electricity, and we'll take all of that money and we'll pump it into our own Democrat candidates and our own voter registration initiatives. Who would be surprised? I wouldn't. I was trying to hit my button and I missed it. Hold on, I'm going to cough and drink something. Hold on. Gotta help, Brock. Good job.
I'm here. I found this story for you.
Good job. All right, so I want to read this to you. New York Post. $900 million taken from a solar panel program and pumped into the Democrat voting activism, California Doge claims. Of course. Honestly, is there something out there that the Democrats get behind? And the climate stuff, I'm going to say, primarily is pushed by the Democrats. It's a progressive thing to push because it's not something anybody has decided upon. Can we all agree that the climate changes? Yeah. I live in Pennsylvania. I can tell you it changes. And it's seasonal. It's wild how it works. Tell me about it, right? But it's always the left that pushes things to fix something that really isn't broken. And then in order to make you believe that it's broken, they got to create a bunch of science and experts who are like, oh my gosh, time is of the essence. The world is melting. Hurry up now. Yeah, well, that's what happened here in California. Cal Doge has claimed nearly $1 billion was taken from a California solar panel program and funneled into Democrat voter registration and activism. Well, I guess Act Blue kind of fizzled up. I guess Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX wasn't available anymore. I guess USAID, they kind of dropped the hammer on that. Got to get it somewhere. Well,
just tell everybody we're going to buy a bunch of solar panels and nobody will know. The report out Thursday argues $928 million from gas tax and electric bills intended for solar panels for apartment buildings went to the leftist groups. The solar on multifamily affordable housing. That's some group name, right? SOMA, solar on multifamily affordable housing. It was created by some bill in 2015. And since then, it's been funded for up to $100 million every year using cap and trade auctions proceeds. My sister, my dad they don't even know that they're paying for this, right? In California. Cal Doge said that according to SOMA's latest report, they've completed only 269 projects with the alleged solar panels for a total of $72 million. Where's the other $890 million? Where'd that go? Republican gubernatorial candidate Steve Hilton, who has maintained his lead in the race in the latest poll, says he wants to know where the rest of the money went. $928 million has been stolen. Your money, he said. Do you know where it's gone? Voter registration by leftist groups supporting the Democratic Party. This is why nothing ever gets accomplished on the left. This is why when they're in power, things grind to a halt or get so much worse. It's not about the team. It's not about the gold medal. It's not about the USA on the jersey. It's not about that feeling. It's not about the national anthem. It's not about the gold medal around the neck. No, it is about themselves staying in power, period. The report lists what Cal Doge called the partner organizations. It's ridiculous of SOMA, who were double dipping on public funds to provide solar panels on apartment buildings. But actually, they're building a left-wing activist machine in economically disadvantaged neighborhoods across the state. It's just a newfangled voter drop box, those ballot drop box that only happened in Black and Hispanic neighborhoods, so oddly. So this is going on in California. They built no new situations where solar panels are reducing anybody's electricity. $100 million taxpayers are paying a year for it. And you know what? You're not supposed to pay attention to it. And if you do start to pay attention to it, well, we'll probably start a fire or something so that you quickly are diverted onto something else. Don't doubt me. Right? Feels kind of the way it is. I stumbled upon something as I'm reading this that Brock sent me this morning. And if you're not convinced with all the news that we share with you about the fraud and the corruption and the sexual deviance and all of the disgusting stuff that goes on, and you're not convinced that Donald Trump has been the whipping boy pinata for the last 10 years for the Democratic Party, I want you to hear RFK Jr. He's sitting down at a Maha something or other. I have no idea when this was, but he says something very much from the heart about basically Donald Trump offering him a position in his cabinet. And he's like, look, the description that you see online or in the media about this president is so wrong. I'm going to share with you what I think. I think it's worthy to know the guy who's trying to clean up all of this jazz is the one that they want to kill the most, take out the most, for good reason, because he's effective and he's authentic. Listen.
Something that I would have never predicted, but life is unpredictable, and we all have to be opportunists and see opportunities when they come. And President Trump is, the President Trump that I imagine, the caricature that you see in the press all the time of the kind of narcissistic bombast, who is uneducated and is not thoughtful and lacks compassion. The actual person is actually the opposite of those things. He's extremely detail-oriented. He's an encyclopedia in many areas, in business, in sports, in the arts, in architecture, in building. He knows how to, above all, he just knows how to get things done. He understands the uses of power probably better than any president that I can name, and I'm pretty familiar with all the presidents. So I don't think we've ever had somebody who understands the use of power that he does, and that the boldness with which he moves and which he expects us to move, I think has inspired all the people who work here right now to do things that people told them before were not possible. And we've managed to do that. I mean, we've gotten MFNs, which is, we were paying for 40 years, we were paying the highest drug price of any country in the world. Now we're paying the lowest. Every president's promised to do that, and all of them have said it's insurmountable. You can't do it, but we were able to do it.
From the mouth of a Democrat who's very good at what he does, who President Trump handpicked for a very specific reason. It is because of that Trump is so hated, because he's the opposite of what they want you to believe. And it's so obvious. I think you're going to love this next story. Where we meet a young man named Josiah Johnson. He's 13 years old. He was born without legs, but it didn't stop him from trying out for his middle school basketball team and proving that even when the odds are stacked against you, to never give up on you. I just love that, and I love his mom screaming it. That's just the best. Absolutely the best. And you deserve that after a busy week, right? So do not go anywhere. Your bad jokes next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
Are you reading?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
I'll love you guys, by the way. Aw. All these jokes are so mean against women. Why is that? Like, what's the big ball and chain joke, right? Like, I'm just going to say my husband is so lucky to have me that if I heard him ball and chaining, I would punch him. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
So she's not talking to you guys? I believe there's a Sunday show.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, you were listening.
Yeah. We'll do it.
Okay.
Well, absolutely.
Let me say
do it.
this again. There will be a Sunday show.
Who's going to get the signatures?
You took up all the room.
No, there's a whole area for you right here, Dippity Doober.
I have a big B.
Well, then tone it down. I have a big B. I'm just going to let that hang out there.
What could it be?
I don't know. It just sounds weird.
It's my initial.
I know. I just sounded weird. I was letting it just
Fester?
linger. Oh, Bill.
Oh, Dawn.
Oh, Dawn. Dawn.
Oh, no. Have we sold any? Ooh. We've sold 18 of mine and more yours.
Right.
I'm not kidding. Why would I lie about
So what's our stock that we have of both now?
In what?
What's the stock of both? How many are left? Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. If you are new to the show, we only do it once a week. Thank goodness, but I love it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just flew in from New York, and boy, my arm's tired. I'm joking, of course. Anywho, welcome to the Comedy Club. Won't you give it up to Wendy and Brock for Bad Joke Friday?
Well, our first joke always is from Dr. Richard Rafferty from the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh, and it goes like this. A clergyman was walking down the street when he came upon a group of boys around 10 years of age. They were surrounding a dog. Concerned, he went over and asked them what they were doing. One of the boys replied, "This dog is an old neighborhood stray. We take him home with us sometimes, but only one of us gets to take him home. So we're having a contest. Whoever can tell the biggest lie gets to be the one to take the dog home." Of course, the Reverend was shocked. You boys shouldn't have a contest telling lies. He then launched it into a 10-minute sermon against lying, beginning with, "Don't you boys know it's a sin to lie?" ending with, "When I was your age, I never told a lie." Right? There was complete silence for about a minute. And then as the Reverend smiled with satisfaction that he'd gotten through to them, the smallest boy gave a deep sigh and said, "All right, give him the dog."
This is true. He never told me.
No.
What do you call birds nesting along the Potomac River?
Birds nesting along the Potomac. Does it have something to do with poo?
Stool pigeons.
Oh, poop. What did the dog say when he fell off the grass onto the gravel? Rough.
Oh,
God. Stupid.
What do you call a sleeping cow?
I don't know.
A bulldozer.
A man goes to a priest and shares that he's been a burning desire to live forever, and he asks what he should do about it. And the priest thinks for a minute and he says, "Get married. Get married." And the man says, "If I get married, will I live forever?" The priest says, "No, but the desire will go to waste."
That's not funny.
That's not funny at all.
That's not funny. In the beginning of marriage, you just need 2 hearts and a diamond. But in the end, you'll want a club and a spade.
Oh, that's terrible.
I didn't write it.
What's the most terrifying word in nuclear physics? Oops. That's true.
Why do sumo wrestlers shave their legs? I don't know. So you can tell them apart from the feminist? That's actually kind of funny. They all look the same.
What goes clippity-clop, 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 bang, bang, clippity-clop, clippity-clop? Anything, Brock?
No.
An Amish drive-by shooting.
Oh, gosh. Why is hunting better than chasing women?
Oh.
Because if you bag a big one, you'll brag about it to your friends.
Oh my gosh, an old man and a woman were married for many years, and every time they had a fight, it got real loud. Neighbors could hear yelling, especially when the old man would shout, "When I die, I'll dig my way out of the grave, come back to haunt you for the rest of your life." Well, the neighbors were terrified. The old man loved it. He liked being feared, but then one night he passed away at 98. At the funeral home, the neighbors nervously asked the widow, "Aren't you afraid? Like he might actually come back to haunt you?" Well, she smiled and calmly replied, "Let him dig. I buried him upside down. You know he won't stop to ask for directions."
All right, Toolsy just texted me a joke.
Okay.
He must have heard this at the game last night.
Oh,
It's
boy.
that bad.
Okay, yeah.
What do you call a cow with no legs? Ground beef.
Wow.
Oh, do better, Michael.
Wow. Bobby's is better than
Yeah.
mine. I'm at the grocery store checkout right before the storm hit this morning when a little boy confidently drops a box of condoms on the counter. The cashier freezes. His mom turns red. And I said, "Son, you do know what those are for, right?" And he nodded and said, "Yeah, they stop babies." And he points at his little sister. "We're just trying to make sure that never happens again."
Wow, that's kind of dark.
I know,
That's kind
right?
of dark. 1 in 5 women are diagnosed with anger issues, which means 4 are running around undiagnosed.
That's true, 100%. Due to a power outage, the house was very dark. So the paramedics asked Kathleen, a 3-year-old, to hold a flashlight high over her mommy so we could see when he helped deliver the baby. Little Connor was born. Paramedic lifted him by the feet, spanked him on the bottom. He began to cry. Paramedic then asked the wide-eyed 3-year-old what she thought about what she had just witnessed. She replied quickly, "He shouldn't have crawled in there in the first place. Spank him again."
What's the only thing that gets easier to pick up the heavier it gets? A woman.
Say it again.
What's the only thing that gets easier to pick up the heavier it gets? A woman. I didn't write the joke. Don't shoot the messenger.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, I told you it was Bad Joke Friday. You can
That one wasn't that bad.
You can enter your submissions for next week at wbrbrock@gmail.com. Have a great weekend. We love you guys. Peace.